Speaking of live and raw, hello everybody, and welcome to the Bin Podcast, the very first podcast to elect Boris Johnson's replacement.
Jesus H. Christ.
We have come up with a small list of names. Brenna, what was your submission?
Well, of course, any Doctor Who would be a great replacement.
Hey, that's not
and
a bad shout.
I don't mean the actors. I mean a Doctor Who. I mean the Doctor.
Solid.
Fair enough.
Solid. Wayne, your submission.
I was going to go with Boutros Ghali.
Who the fuck is that? What is that? What and who?
That's made up.
What?
Right
that you can't make up words, Wayne. We've talked about this at length.
He was a former leader of a country.
Boutros.
Straight up.
I did not spell Boutros right.
No, you didn't. Former Secretary General of There you go.
He's Egyptian.
Yeah. So don't tell me I'm making stuff up.
I mean, Boutros sounds.
I just thought it was the silliest name I could.
Now, Boutros, is that the first name?
First and middle name.
Or Boutros Ghali, is that the last name? Is he because it's hyphenated?
I think it might be. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
To be fair, I'm not his biographer.
I mean, aren't you all you British people Egyptian? I just watched Moon Knight, and I'm pretty sure that you guys can like flip.
Finally, you've watched Moon Knight.
You can flip back and forth, and you can.
I swear to God, he method acted the accent by watching the Bin podcast and just taking notes from me. Hello, mate. Hello.
He learned from Florence. Hello, Dad. Hello, Dad. Little pig.
Hello, Daddy.
Oh,
hello,
blimey,
Daddy.
Blimey, this is bollocks.
Oh, yeah.
Like if 14-year-old me went to fucking Australia. I mean, g'day, mate. G'day, mate. G'day, mate.
Yeah, you beat that.
Are you going?
American.
Are you going? Are you going?
Yeah. Are we having a Barbie today?
Gotta look out for those camel spiders.
Look at this creature. It's got 4+ legs.
I'm just gonna stick my finger in its cloaca.
Oh no! Okay, we're done.
Yeah,
I nominate
parodies of Steve Irwin. That's terrible.
I nominate Bindi Irwin.
Oh yeah.
Here's a crocodile. Let's jump on the bugger.
She'll win.
Speaking of jumping on buggers,
someone's just.
I hear the hello, Daddy. I got you, Wayne.
Hello, Daddy.
I got your camera.
It's all right. She's blurred anyway.
All right. Boom. Mic share screen button. Man, this stream deck is the bomb diggity.
Word.
Oh, he's taking 2 seconds now. Oh, wait a second. So how you doing, Brenna?
Hi.
How's it going? Hey, and hey everybody who's listening. Make sure you guys check out our YouTube and Twitch pages. You seem to have found the audio.
But
also,
you
make
need
sure
the visuals.
You need to.
These beautiful faces.
I shaved.
You shaved.
I shaved because the beard was like growing into my nose, and I was like, all right. I've tried combing you, and you don't want to listen.
I have that problem with my beard.
I was going to say, where are you going with this?
Brenna's leg hair is so long that it has started going into her nose.
I actually have
got cornrows.
I had a dude on swim team let the girls braid his leg hair. He made it about one little, whatever those little hoopty things is, like one little part of braid, that's in those sections. One of those, and he tapped.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like fun.
Dude, getting your hair braided hurts like a motherfucker.
Oh, right. Dude, back in the 90s, I used to have extensions in mine with the braids.
Stop it.
And they tie them in, and they're just ripping you. Yeah, there are pictures of me on the internet for proof, but
looking like Lenny.
Yeah,
he's going for full Lenny Kravitz back. But my girl AOC has something to say.
these insurrectionists.
Like Antifa?
And that there were actual officers working with this, and we never got to the bottom of that, and we never got any answers about that. And then to this day, we're just supposed to pretend that that never happened.
What about Antifa?
I have no idea what happened to the people on the inside who were very clearly sympathetic with what was going on and opening the doors wide open for that. And I'm supposed to sit here and pretend like none of that ever happened. And then right afterwards, you have a massive, you just have this idea that throwing money at that problem is going to make it go away without any accountability. And so this is where these things are breaking down. We're not safe. And it's not just about members of Congress not being safe. The food staff workers aren't safe. The janitors aren't safe. Like, we need to get to the bottom of this. So that's all I got to say.
What about Antifa?
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Let's get to the bottom of it. Antifa, please.
What? And forgive the trolls in the background, but yeah, whatever did happen to those guys? This whole big grandiose hearing.
I'm not sure. There's another subject matter that we're going to talk about with AOC. And I watched a video earlier, and I'm pretty sure she was in that same dress. If that's the same day, she's had a bad day. They have been on her case all day.
Well, yeah, that's from the 7th day of the trial.
All right, so it must be, yeah.
I believe it is.
Yeah. No, that's just shocking.
And,
yeah,
whatever happened to those lads?
Nothing.
I mean, there's footage of them doing it. What's the holdup?
Yeah, whatever happened to what's his chops? The geezer with the buffalo gear on.
Oh, he's in jail.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, he couldn't have been more blatant and conspicuous.
Viking helmet guy. Yeah, let's see where he's at. Atlanta Journal-Constitution. What the hell publication is this? So the internet is not great for everything. You got Joe Blow's blog over here.
Hang on a minute, I might have another interlope session here. You can see the door handle moving. She's like,
Just put something sticky on it. Just put something sticky on it. She'll never touch it again. You'll put something in her head that all doorknobs.
All door handles are sticky.
Yeah.
She's one of them people that goes over the elbow.
Yeah. using her heel.
This doorknob's round. What am I going to do with this?
Oh, nothing for it. Tears her sleeve off, wraps it around the doorknob.
It'll just go straight through the door. Just steams into it.
So we pled. Here we go.
There it is.
Little blighter. QAnon shaman pleads. Thank you for not saying pleaded. Pleads guilty to felony charges for role in January 6th Capitol riot. Well, let's see what his punishment was, though. They might have just given him probation. That's what they're giving everybody these days.
Yeah. Probation or a regular slot on the Stephen Crowder show.
He was sentenced to 8 months.
Oh, well, and will he have to serve all that, or do you do the same thing as we do over here? You only serve half of it.
Kind of depends.
Yeah. We have you only serve a certain portion of that sentence, and most likely he can get his sentence reduced for certain things like talking in front of the January 6th committee.
Or being nice to the governor. Real nice.
At least 600 individuals are currently facing federal charges in connection with the January 6th insurrection, according to an analysis of public records by ABC News.
But the thing is, there was so many people there, so many cameras. Sure, I thought just trespassing on there would have got you in bother.
But here's my thing: these idiots all had their phones,
and they was all filming it and sticking it on their own socials.
Yeah, open and shut case, Johnson.
I'm telling you now, if anyone tried to storm the Houses of Parliament, it will be chitty chitty bang bang.
Yeah, you see what happens to them dudes that get in the way of like those royal guards. Like they stand in the way, then they get put on their ass.
Oh, they don't mess about, mate. they're all like, I know they are soldiers, but they are actual soldiers. Their bayonets are real. Them guns are always loaded. You know what I mean? If someone tried to jump the fence there, well, firstly, Lizzie's going to set the corgis on them, so they're knackered straight away. They'll be like Benny Hill
Bork,
sort of music
bork,
playing in the
bork, bork,
background.
bork, 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 with their little thick booties.
Yeah.
There's
But-
so much love for corgis. Like even a friend of the show, Jenna. Jenna
Mhm.
is obsessed with corgis, and I'm like, what the?
Really?
She's like, they got nice booties. I was like, what the fuck? And then you look at a corgi's like hair and fur, and it's like, oh, the color does look like a butt.
It's like the shape of a football, not an American football.
Let me get some corgi butt up here.
Oh, no, come on, man.
It's got.
For the audio listeners, Mikey
gotta
is now
know.
searching corgis' butts live on our stream. I mean,
Okay.
this is the most niche podcast you're ever going to find.
No, I think
We've-
corgi butts are a thing.
Oh, this is shocking. And I can see, again for the audio listeners, Brenna is biting her lip because her gardeners are doing their thing, so she can't come on the audio bit.
Yes.
She looks.
Don't blame me,
think-
blame Jenna. She made me Google it.
Jenna.
Yeah.
Who's
Jenna
your
Miu.
Brenna?
No, Jenna Miu has a thing about corgis, not Brenna.
Oh, okay.
My
That's
Jenna.
good.
Yes, her Jenna.
Yeah.
My Jenna.
Well, she's part of the Harem, isn't she? So.
But your gardeners have left. So what say you about what AOC has to say, young lady?
I mean,
Young
yes,
maiden?
there's a lot of questions going on, and like we're on what, the 7th trial, right, or the 7th hearing.
Mm.
We haven't even cracked the surface of what actually is going to happen, because we've been going through a lot of this, Trump stuff, the VP stuff, the what was it, the December 18th trial, which
Yeah.
or meeting, that was the last one that we
Yeah.
we went through. We haven't gotten into any of the members of Congress that have been a part of this, including the tours. We haven't got into like Ginny Thomas
Mhm.
and we haven't gotten to these. And if we don't, that is a huge problem.
Yeah, we gotta pick up the
So-
pace.
There's a lot else that needs to go on, because we can't just talk about what happened within the White House. We also have to talk about what happened in Congress, because those people did not just wander in on their own free will.
No, I saw something about this just today before coming on the show, and it was one of Trump's aides said that she was going to
Oh.
resign. I think it was on CNN.
Oh, you're talking about the young lady,
Yes.
McKinnon.
Yes.
McKinsey.
And she said she was going to resign, and her superior turned around, and this is all her testimony. Her superior, who was I forget his name now, but he was brought in right towards the end, and she said, "I'm handing in my resignation," and he said, "You might want to hold off on that because we're still going to be here in a couple of weeks." And she
Cassidy
was like,
Hutchinson.
"There you go."
Jesus.
And she then moved her resignation up to the next day, instead of, she was given notice to say, "I'm going in a week." And after he said that to her, she was like, "Well, no, we're not. We lost." So
Yeah.
me and my staff are doing one. And she forwarded her resignation the next day instead. And I think there's a lot of people like Steve Bannon, all these people that have had all their little tentacles
Mhm.
within the administration that have had so much influence, and Trump surrounded himself with yes men, and all the people that were resigning were, they were wrong uns, but they weren't as wrong as the ones that wanted to save their asses. basically a bit like what Boris Johnson's done with all of his administration. He's just surrounded himself with yes men, and all they're doing is trying to save their careers. But unfortunately, they're now seen as toxic because they've been part of Boris Johnson's administration.
So do you remember after the insurrection took place that all these cabinet members started resigning?
Yeah.
And I think that there's more to it than just the insurrection or what happened. I think they were being told that they need to invoke the 25th Amendment.
Right.
Yeah.
And they did not want to do it because they did not want to get on Trump's bad side.
Exactly.
It was on the table.
Everything that's come out so far that I've heard has basically seen that, also suggested that was the case. The 25th Amendment was being tabled, like you say, Mikey, and the only people that wanted to stay around for it were the people that were the yes men. That, as another commentator said, that viciously attacked anyone that was a dissenter of Trump in the media. They were going on Fox News, they were going on all the other right-wing places, and they were viciously attacking anyone who said anything bad about Trump. But all the ones that can kind of see the writing was on the wall, they kind of went, nah, I think we better get out of here. Looks a bit moody. And now those same people that left that sinking ship are the ones that are testifying against Trump and the administration.
They're trying to get reduced sentences is what it is.
Exactly. So they know they haven't got that option of a pardon now because Trump's not in charge. They always had the option of a pardon. And, look at Giuliani.
I think I got a bad feeling that Rudy's going to try and be the fall guy because Trump's whole thing.
Be the hero.
Yeah, because Trump's whole thing was I was listening to my lawyer. My lawyer, and his lawyer at the time was Rudy.
Yeah, I thought Roger Stone took a lot of heat for him as well.
Mm-hmm. Hold on there, Wayne. Hold on, almost done. I think Rudy's going to be the fall guy. He's going to be a hero to the right wing.
Yep.
And then in 4 years, he'll get out.
Yeah, he'll take a plea deal, and then he'll do the round to the studios, book tours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He'll do a couple of, and it'll probably be commuted anyway. It'll probably be like 2 years. So he'll go sit for 2 years in an air conditioned place because he's going to be in minimum security, fucking pasture, just relaxing for 2 years.
He needs to be in an aircon place. Stop his hair melting.
Well, hey, when Zork fucking had that shit going down his forehead, that's all I can think of. I should make that my background.
Wow.
Mr.
I
Evil.
just watched that movie.
What was it? Mr. Bad? Mr. Dark? What was it? Mr. Shadow? What was the name of like the entity on the phone?
I don't remember.
Shadow, I think
it's Mr. Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Rudy's gonna try and take the fall for him, and I think that's how Trump thinks he's gonna get out is because Mike Pence wouldn't do the good old boy thing, and he thinks, well, Rudy will do it. But I mean, I think Rudy wants to do it, but maybe he won't be able to use that excuse. And I think that's what their chess pieces are looking like to me, that they're gonna try to pin it all on Rudy, and because they in all the testimony they keep referring to the fact that Rudy was drunk. And so now Rudy can be like, I'm sorry I said those things. I was drunk. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to,
but
they're trying to build.
Also that makes him a really bad witness. Or
he's already been disbarred.
Yeah, don't care. It just makes him a really bad witness. So if he does end up going in front of the committee, or if he, if he comes, his testimony can be seen as,
not
false.
credible.
Yeah, non-credible, which means that whatever he says, it's not going to be seen as being the truth without
all of them
cooperation.
All of them, even though they've tried to save themselves, all of them have laid that breadcrumb that Rudy was drunk. Did you see Rudy drunk? Was drunk?
I can see. I'm going to put my corkboard behind me with my red strings, and
Yeah,
I can see this happening.
that
So
Randy's in the center of it all. Yeah.
Giuliani goes over for it, and then Trump uses that in his campaign to say, "Oh, see, I'm the victim here. I was just listening to a
Right.
bad lawyer. Oh no!"
I told
And
you
he
lawyers are the
exonerates
worst.
then he exonerates himself from
Lawyers,
all
yeah.
responsibility, and the media go, "Oh, poor Trump,
Right.
oh, pat the big baby on the head," and then next thing you know, he's your number 7. Sorry.
I just listened to the to his words, and that's what I did. No.
He
You know,
seemed a smart guy.
mhm.
He had all the good
Oh,
ideas.
no.
So I could do Trump and Johnson, and that's terrible.
Speaking
Okay.
speaking of Johnsons,
Oh.
In Texas says her unborn baby girl should count as a second passenger in an HOV lane. She is using that argument to try to get out of a ticket. TheBinPodcast has more.
13 News Now reporting. Sorry.
Brandy Batone was 34 weeks along when she alone took the high occupancy vehicle, or HOV lane, on Highway 75
Oh, God damn it. They fucking said it in here, and I went and Googled it for nothing.
in Dallas County. When pulled over by a DPS officer and asked who else is in the car,
I was like, oh, this. I was like, right here she is. And he just kind of looked at me like, how do I answer this?
If I could guess which state she was from, I would have said Texas.
Yeah.
She is the most Texas-looking person
Mhm.
I've ever seen. She's a
I'm
yellow
surprised she ain't-
Amarillo rose.
I'm surprised she ain't got a Lone Star flag in the background.
She's got a 6-shooter
But
on her
there's
hip.
not a stake that's the size of her head. It's just kind of hanging there.
The big tomahawk steak.
Oh my God! Just tomahawks all over the background.
Just everywhere, dude. They just kind of hang on the wall.
Bunch of barbecue sauce bottles strewn across the floor.
Wow.
It's been a rough pregnancy.
Brandy in the moment wasn't trying to take a stand, only trying to fight a ticket. For context, Roe v. Wade had just been overturned, and Texas has an impending ban on abortions. She felt it right to think the child she's carrying is a passenger.
One loss saying that it's a baby.
So good. Ooh.
They're gonna throw the ticket away.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna have
They-
to.
And now
After
he's telling
this,
me
yeah.
that this baby that's jabbing my ribs is not a baby. Why can't it all
All right, time out. Can you go in the HOV lane with a kid in the car?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, because they are a separate entity.
Yes. That's not it. It's
Makes sense.
another person.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter how old they are, as long as they're a person.
Yeah, and separate from the host, if you will.
There's nothing. I don't think there's
I
anything
don't
that
think
says.
there's nothing that says
it's-
separate from host.
If she wouldn't be arguing this if it was that. It's another passenger
Yeah.
or person.
They're gonna go out there with a crew with a bunch of cans of spray paint and just start putting in commas
Yeah.
just because the phrasing wasn't perfect. Got
The
him.
officer wasn't buying it. Brandy got a $275 ticket
Ow!
for an HOV violation.
Man, it's two people.
Damn
with
liberal
one
copper.
body.
That's actually pretty cheap.
Weird way of wording it.
TxDOT's online description
is
of the
like
HOV
700.
rule isn't
Ugh.
entirely clear. It reads simply, a vehicle occupied by 2 or more people.
There you
Even
go.
the officer
That's
admitted she
clear.
could fight it. Hundreds,
Clear.
thousands of people on social media feel that too.
Just the outpour of support from, women all over the world. All sorts of emotions. I'm trying to obviously keep my blood pressure down. Let's not go into labor yet.
Brandy says she's taking a neutral stance politically. In the last 2 days, she's heard from both sides of the abortion debate. What she will say is this.
If there's a pro-women category, that's my stance.
Now, at 36 weeks along, she has hired an attorney and has a court date in late July. That is, if her daughter doesn't come first.
Oh, if her daughter does
Wow.
because she's pregnant. That's good. That's good writing.
Pregnant.
I'm Chuck Winchester, reporting for the news.
This has been your man on the street, Chip Johnson.
Exactly. He couldn't be more local news, could he?
Sorry.
I used to want to be on the news.
Watch Anchorman, so that's always a good.
I used to really want to be on
the news.
And then we're cutting back to Trisha Takanawa.
So what say y'all?
I'll let
She's
you
in the
guys
right place.
go for it.
She's in the right place to fight it. Because the legislature are basically, well, they've passed that law that's going to be that abortion is legal because that is a person. So if her unborn child is a person, then she can cite that particular law and say, well, there you go. How can you can't have one without the other? But I think the policeman was in the right because there is only one passenger. There's only one occupant of that vehicle.
There's two people. It doesn't say passengers. It's people.
Yeah, sorry. There's only one person in that vehicle.
She's pregnant. There's two people. It's visible.
This is the argument though, because in these anti-abortion states, and we're going to call them anti-abortion states because they're clearly against abortion. These anti-abortion states are completely changing the way that a fetus is named, is treated. So an abortion, they're trying to get the abortion to be, murder, homicide, because that is a person, that is a living being. Once they have a heartbeat, they're considered a person. So if she is pregnant past the 6 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever they consider it to be a person, she is carrying a person.
Right.
So that their arguments is that person, that fetus, that baby inside of her has rights of life, pro-life.
Mm-hmm.
So because she is in there pregnant, clearly in what looked like in her third trimester, right?
Yeah, she said 34 weeks, 36 weeks or something like that. Yeah.
That's third trimester.
She's about to pop.
That is clearly a person. If that's what they want to say, that has individual rights. That's why you cannot separate. You cannot have an abortion because of that. That is a person to them. She's like, I don't want to. I think she does have a very clear view, because if it is a person, she's fighting for it to be a person.
Mm-hmm.
She did that on purpose. Mm-hmm. She went into that carpool lane on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Because she was pregnant. I don't like.
So it's like your move, holy man.
She's totally not telling the full truth about what her position is on that. She clearly states that because she was pregnant, because she was third trimester pregnant, that is a person in the state of Texas. And in other states, Oklahoma has the same thing. It's the same sort of idea. Once it's a person on conception. Now, we're not just going to see something like this argument about this personhood of an unborn child or an unborn or a fetus. We're going to see other things. This is why the Roe versus Wade problem is what she said, it's a woman problem. Because it's not just about access to abortion. It's also about the ability to have rights. And if this baby is considered a person, then it should be across everything. So pregnant women should be able to claim on their taxes that a fetus is a dependent.
I have a counter to that.
It is a person. All right, that's fine.
You get on my airplane. You come fly Mikey Fam and Airlines.
I wouldn't trust that.
The duct tape is new, so quit your bitching. We just retaped. Like, fucking calm down already. But on Mikey Famine Airlines, oh, are you pregnant, miss? Yes. How far along are you? I'm 34 weeks. Okay, your ticket's doubled.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Movie tickets, you're doubled.
Wait a second. Now, do you pay for seats or do you pay per person?
Everybody has to have their own seat. You can't have a kid ride in your lap.
Actually, you can.
Yes. Okay, so just last week we was on holiday in Gran Canaria.
Okay.
Oh, please. How's that sound?
When we flew out, Florence wasn't allowed a seat because she was under 2.
Yeah.
We had her birthday whilst we was out there, so she got her own seat on the way back. But because there was a bit of conflict in the fact that when you're booking a seat for a child, if they're under 2, you can't book a seat. If they're over 2, you can. So when we got on the plane, they said, no, she's got to sit on your lap the entire time because she's a baby. I'm like, in a matter of hours, she's going to be old enough to sit in that seat. Yeah. It seems a ridiculous policy that they've got this arbitrary line as to, no, you're a child or you're an infant, you can be there. Now you're a person, you can be there. And I think if I'm getting what you're saying, Brenna, this lady is testing that particular dynamic.
Yeah.
And do you think it's contrived in a way that she did it on purpose
Oh,
to
hell yeah.
get a ticket? Yeah.
Oh, hell
So,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, she had some pretty decent publicity photos.
We all know about carpool lanes. Now, there are some people who break the carpool lanes because they're dicks, right?
Yeah, Shartan.
She
got his big rig in there.
He's over there in that tree.
He's on a snowmobile pulling a big rig. Like, what are you doing? Get out of the way!
me. I am innocent in this conversation.
You're going 10 miles an hour, you shit.
We know about carpool lanes. We know there are even some rules about it being either 2 or more people or 3 or more people. We know about this. Some people break the law because they think they're better than all of us, and some people do go into the HOV lane with only one person in there.
Bitches.
Even though I tell people with electric vehicles, please go in the carpool lane because
get out of my way.
Get out of my way. You can go. I have to stay here. She did this on purpose. Now, was her purpose to get to that location faster? Maybe that was her reason. But she also is in Texas where they just triggered these laws about personhood. And she knew she was obviously knew she was pregnant because she got these wonderful pictures taken beforehand. So I believe she knew she was pregnant before.
Yeah, I got an angle here.
She went into that carpool lane, and maybe she was hoping she wasn't going to get caught, but she had a story.
Yeah.
She already knew what her story was. Her story was, hey, this is a person in this state. I can be here because this is a person. I'm carrying the person. There it is right here, wiggling around. It's a person. She knew what she was doing. She knew this was going to happen. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not going to hold that against her. I don't like that she totally lied about that kind of thing. But maybe to get the intention, because if her intention was to get caught and all that stuff, maybe that's illegal kind of thing. But she's going to get a lawyer that's going to be this pro-woman lawyer that she wants, and they're going to go to the court and say, hey, look, exactly, hey, look, here's what you said, my fetus is above 4 weeks, it is considered a person, it has personhood, that's the term, the heartbeat, the personhood, you told me this is a person, you say, hey, 2 or more person needs to be in this car. There were 2 people in this car, me and my unborn child. That's how she's gonna fight this.
Yeah.
If it gets passed, they really do have to rethink their laws because this needs to continue happening.
So I just had a crazy idea.
Uh-oh.
What if they reinstate Roe v. Wade and give her the ticket anyway? They're like, fuck it. We're not paying $275. Fuck it. She's paying that money. fucking go back. The Supreme Court just overturns the whole shebang.
I think we could reinstate Roe v. Wade on these kind of things. Like, if I'm not allowed to claim this as a person, then you can't have it both ways. And I think that's a good sort of way we're going to see these consequences of losing these rights, these consequences that are going to come up. And this woman wanted to have this baby. This woman was pregnant.
Right.
And Roe v. Wade, this overturning of it and these trigger laws, they're affecting her. And this is the type of stuff we're going to have to see, because this is the side that a lot of people are not understanding.
Well,
these are also the things that we were talking about beforehand, where it was like, well, then what about the carpool lane? What about claiming the dependents in your taxes?
Well, this is the kind of stuff that gets bullshit overturned, right? Or get shit reinstated because their hyper Christian nationalist regime, as spirited as it might be, you didn't think of everything.
Right.
No.
They had this one-track mind.
They had a one-track mind, and they forgot about the details.
Abortion, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to stop abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And what they really did was cause more chaos, because these kind of things are going to continue happening. Pregnant women are going to get back at them, because pregnant women are also affected by this. It's going to be affecting our healthcare system when you can't have doctors and nurses learning about how to actually handle births or prenatal. You're going to be having problems about actually identifying diseases or issues that come from pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancies are not going to be well educated in. We're not going to see a lot of medical abortions because we can't study it in every state. So now medical practice for women is going to be determined by what state you're in.
Did we catch her name? I wonder if she's like a social media influencer or something like that. You know
I've got a feeling
she looks like a model.
You know what I'm saying? She's got, but I was running through my head, I'm like, well, maybe like women do pregnancy shoots.
Brandine Button or Baton.
That's an influencer name. That's an influencer name all day long.
Hi, I'm Brandy Baton. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Yeah, I got my ticket today.
Like and subscribe. Click the notification button.
Hit our notification button, please.
Yeah, hit our notification button. Like and subscribe.
while we're saying that.
It's me, Barry, you know. I'm actually do that for us.
Yeah, she's bad, but us good, okay?
Yeah. We're one of the alright ones.
So they already have her on net worth. Popular net worth.
No way. How do they find
that out? She has an estimated net worth of $1.10 million.
Oh shit! Oh yeah. So she was what, in a fucking G-Wagon?
GMC Yukon.
Oh yeah. Kitted out. It's 80 grand.
So event planner, right? Did I read that right?
How do I get to be an event planner?
Event planner.
We're done over here. Shut this shit down. I'm an event planner.
She's from Tennessee.
She belongs in Texas.
That's funny. Anyway.
You know who else belongs in Texas? Your boy.
What oh, all right.
Hello, folks. Party's over. Time to go home.
Oh wait, I have a thing for that.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Mike's got a thing. Brakes.
Them's
the brakes.
Oh my God. Is that the new thing now?
I got a button.
Is that the new button?
I got a button.
Jesus.
Finally got it after he's resigned.
That's from his resignation speech. I had to wait.
Oh, fair enough.
Well,
Yeah.
he's resigned, but he ain't gone.
No, what's the deal with that, Wing?
Right.
Tell us.
Tell
The
us
excuse that he gave is he's not going to resign and leave the country in limbo with no one in place. So he's waiting for the leadership result to be confirmed. Then he's going to step aside.
But them's the breaks.
Jesus Christ.
The speculation is that him and his wife Carrie were going to use Checkers, which is like Your Fault, David, for their wedding party, because they've not had. Well, it's not like they've not been partying for the last 2 years. Fuck's sake.
Well, I mean, they've had to. They've been very bored.
Yeah. So.
How else are they going to spend that taxpayer money?
Exactly. So they were going to use Checkers, which is the Prime Minister's private residence, and they were going to use it for a party. And then when that came out, they were like, everyone's like, hang on a minute. So you're resigning, but you're not leaving because you've got a party booked for the end of July. And
yes,
the amount of pressure that got mounted on him to go, you can't do this party. You are taking the piss. You've already had Partygate. And he's like, yeah, maybe it does look bad. The optics are bad. So we'll move it to a different place. But
fine.
Yeah,
we won't do it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, folks.
Fucking crybabies.
Carpe diem.
He can't even get no going away party. Y'all ungrateful, man. Y'all are ungrateful.
Yeah, just get my foot in the small of his back.
Ungrateful, but you know what?
But them's the breaks.
Yeah.
Mikey's got a new toy.
Oh, I hate this.
Yeah,
I
right
love
now
it.
what we've got is the Tory leadership campaign that's going on, and earlier on today, we had another casualty of the race. Basically, it's a popularity contest. You had to have 20 MPs back you to be viable for the leadership race, and then each round of voting eliminates a person who gets the least amount of votes. So it's basically like X Factor or Britain's Got Talent.
I was about to say, is there a talent portion? Do they have to do like a tight five stand up and then
I
sing
want
a
to see the
song?
swimsuit.
I
want to see the goddamn swimsuits, and I want to see them European style.
Okay, so we can see their heads, right? Their heads are on screen. Yeah. Now just imagine them in swimsuits. You're welcome.
Can you imagine Rishi Sunak, who's second from right there in his budgie smugglers?
Oh yeah. I got him with a hairy chest, blue Speedo.
No, he's got to go yellow.
I was gonna say blue, but with like yellow feathers or yellow pineapples or something on it. Just
pineapples.
See?
My man on the right, he's got the same mankini, but his is all eggplants.
Like
he's
emoji
dirty.
eggplants.
Yeah, eggplant emoji.
He would be full Union Jack mankini.
Like the
like Austin Powers.
Oh my god.
Yo, and it'd have like a sarong as well, which would be a flag.
Yo, why did y'all let Mike Myers do that to y'all? Don't let that Canadian do that to y'all. He tore y'all.
He was born in Liverpool.
Mike Myers?
Yeah.
I thought he was from Canada.
No, he was born in Liverpool. He famously does a Scouse accent.
Oh. Did he move to Canada? Why do I think he's Canadian? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lived in Canada most of his life, but he was born in Liverpool.
Well, that explains it. I'm about to say, y'all just letting Mike Myers tear y'all ass up, boy. Y'all let him make 8 movies about y'all. Didn't say shit.
Well, to be fair, it was more of a parody of James Bond, but, you know.
That's your pride and joy. That's your...
Them's the breaks.
Wait.
But them's the breaks.
No longer allowed to say it. Mikey has taken the phrase.
Mikey has tainted it now forever.
Oh, I can't breathe.
So at the minute, Mikey, if you'd be so kind as to scroll down so we can get some names.
So we can get to the bikinis. Oh,
Oh, damn it.
we didn't even get to the girls yet, but that's probably for the best.
Yeah, we should
Is
probably not.
So is the last round the interview round where everybody has to answer questions about like what would they do on their favorite summer vacation?
Is it like Squid Game?
No. They have to, oh, that'd be brilliant. No, they have to go into the boardroom and all be interviewed by Donald Trump.
Oh God. It's what was this? The Apprentice.
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice.
I almost said Shark Week.
The MP.
Yeah, so I believe it's Tuesday, but the two front runners are Rishi Sunak, who is the former Chancellor, but he resigned. Rishi Sunak, he's second from the right.
Guy.
Yeah, he's a front runner, as well as a woman I'd never heard of until this actual race. And I need to scroll down to see her name.
Penny or Liz or Ken?
Yeah, Liz.
That's this.
No, not Liz. Liz Truss is she's the foreign secretary.
Okay, I've heard that name before.
And it's Penny. What's her chops?
Mordaunt.
Yeah, so they're the two front runners because they got the most votes. Rishi got, I believe, 107, and she got 88, I believe. So they're basically the bookies' favourites to be the final two.
Okay.
And then they have the final process where the MPs will pick who is going to be the new Prime Minister. Now, this is where I was saying to you earlier, Brenna, I find that our system is more undemocratic than yours. Okay. Because as soon as they get picked by the political party, the MPs, they then become the Prime Minister. And we, the people, do not have any say in it whatsoever.
Real quick from the chat, Simply Secular Dave says his parents were from Liverpool. He was born in Scarborough, Ontario.
Oh, okay. My bad. I thought he was from Liverpool. So, but he has always famously done a Scouse accent.
It's probably because he's making fun of like his grandparents or an uncle or something like that.
Probably visited a few dozen times.
Yeah.
But let's not insult Scousers because we might have someone popping up from that area.
I ain't scared of Scousers.
Okay.
They're teddy bears, really.
Yeah. But we know a Scouser that's not scared of travelling from country to country, though, Mikey. So.
Yeah. Well, with COVID, I don't know, man. He can't get no van over here.
I don't know. He'll probably give it a go. It'll be there in like 2 months, but
right.
He'll find you.
And then bop 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 bop. Oh shit! Only a Scouser would knock that way.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on over here, and I just don't think
so you don't choose, you yourself as a citizen do not choose your leadership. You choose the people to choose the leadership.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then unlike your presidential system, you pick the president, the person.
Right.
Whereas we pick the leader of the biggest party.
The party, and then.
Yeah.
You choose you pick the party, right?
Right.
So you.
Yeah. Well, you vote for your local MP, and then whoever gets the most MPs in the parliamentary system, they then control Parliament.
Okay.
But whoever is the leader of that party is the Prime Minister. Whereas you just have a president who is a standalone person who then appoints his administration or his or her administration. But yeah, we don't do that. It's just whoever's the most popular party and whoever's the leader of it.
Okay.
I'm just going to mute myself for a second.
Okay.
So Clyde says, did it pop up now? There we go. Do we pick the president in the U.S.? Kind of.
We have a different system than they do, where we like he said, like they choose the person in their party or for that party, the one that has the most party, like the most count in the party, then their leader. So whoever they have chosen as their leader gets to be the prime minister. We actually we do a version of it where we pick who our party leader is, and then not based on whether or not who has the most votes. Like,
Right.
how much has the biggest party.
But they still have primaries and shit. To be part of the people who vote for the people who make the prep. That's such an extra step.
Yeah, it's a very convoluted system we have over here.
But you can, the only way that you can change leadership, party leadership, we'll say, like whose party is in charge, is if there is an election.
There's a general election.
Different than what's going on now.
Yeah.
So unless the prime minister calls for an election, you're stuck with whomever they choose.
Yeah, we've got the Fixed Term Parliament Act, which can be overridden if there's a vote of no confidence, or the prime minister can call a general election if they feel that their power is slipping and they want to sort of get a decent mandate. Like Boris Johnson in the last election, he got an 80-seat majority, which is a very strong majority in the House of Parliament, and he could have called a general election to reinforce his position, because he could have been re-elected, and then he could tell everyone in the party that was resigning to shut up. It's like, right, I'm calling a general election. Let's see what happens now. Come at me. But I think he knew his goose was cooked, so he just thought, you know what, bollocks, I'll resign, but the party will still stay in power, and they'll still have overall control. The problem that they've got is, I think it's in 2 years' time, we do have a general election, and it's finding someone who can counter Keir Starmer, who's the leader of the official Queen's opposition, Her Majesty's opposition, because he's got the second biggest party in Labour. But you've also got the Scottish National Party, who obviously want independence, and they command a lot of seats in the Westminster Parliament, because they've all got their own separate wards and whatnot up in Scotland, which have the same amount of gravitas in Westminster. So potentially, if there was a general election called today, I would say that it will be a coalition between Labour, Lib Dems, and the SNP. Because we've had ridiculous amounts of, I think, 12 years now of Tory government. 12 years of the same party in charge, and there's no sort of fixed terms like you've got with your presidents. They can only serve 2 terms and done. Now they can stay in situ forever if they get the votes, but
and they can just switch around their party leadership too.
Yep. Have a
so if they're like done with somebody, they'll be like, you know what, you're no longer the party leadership.
Yeah, that's exactly what they've done with Boris. They did it with Theresa May. David Cameron resigned because he lost the Brexit vote. Margaret Thatcher was forced out again over a vote of no confidence. So this lot of the Tories have got form for doing this in my lifetime. So it just means that they get to cling on to power for a little bit longer.
So you just put the most popular person up in front, and then the Tories continue to be well loved because they get the most popular, the most charismatic. Boris Johnson was the goofy Trumpy, right? Trumpy Jr.
Yeah.
So
posh Trump.
Yeah, it's just it's like that's how that's how they kept going, and then they realized that he is Trump and he screws people over.
Yeah. And the problem is we've got a very client media over here that will only serve the purposes of the rich and powerful. And as I've said to you before on the show, we know more about America here than we know about France, which is 26 miles that way.
But them's the breaks.
He's never getting tired of that, is he?
I know what Jean-Tain was feeling before. It's unlimited power.
Oh, Mikey's hair is blooming Infinity Gauntlet, love and life.
Oh my God.
About to go Super Saiyan.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the problem. We have a media that's very similar to the American media. Everything's sexy, everything's sensationalized, everything has to look good.
Yeah.
And if you look good and sound good, and you are not, well, and you're all about keeping wealth and capital where wealth and capital already is, then you're golden.
Yeah.
If you're a disruptor like Jeremy Corbyn, now Jeremy Corbyn had a massive cult-like following, but he was never going to get into power because all his policies were basically sort of Robin Hood policies, in a sense of, look, we're a social country, we're cutting absolutely everything from public life and replacing it with private. We need to go back to, he was talking about renationalising the railways, which we've kind of had to do because there's been private companies that have bought into train franchises. They've tendered really low, realised that they can't do it for that money once they start doing it, and then the state has had to come back in and buy that train line back. So all in all, the NHS is being chopped up and franchised out by everyone. Like, we don't even own ambulances anymore. They're all private companies. Yeah, it's a clusterfuck, but they know they're in a closed market. So buy get a paracetamol from the NHS. It costs you £16, but you can go and buy it for 6p down the road. You know?
Oh wow.
That's an exaggeration, but that's the kind of paradigm that we're in. If you're selling to the NHS, you can charge what you like, but if you're selling privately to an individual, it'll be like cost.
Simply Secular Dave says again, Canada picks the U.S. president. We do it with subliminal messages on Pornhub. We influence almost all of the U.S. voters.
See?
You sons of bitches. You
Wayne, I was
maple
right.
sucking.
That's right. Do you know what? Canada, that's where all the Freemasons live.
And Clyde, 1985, what up, man? He says, I knew Canada was behind it all. See?
Yeah.
We never truly trusted Canada.
It's not a matter of trusting Canada. They just never really do anything of significance. They kind of just sit in the background like this.
They just hang out.
Your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Well, they're still part of the Commonwealth, so Lizzie still holds candle to them.
How's she doing, by the way?
Yeah, she's all right. Knocking about, shooting a couple of darkies. I don't know, whatever she does.
Oh, Lord. This new comment from Simply Secular Dave. Thanks again, Dave. Bois, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha.
That is deep.
I wonder what he could mean by that.
That is deep sentiments right there.
Yeah.
Wayne, I have a question for you about this whole shit that's going on in your government.
Answer the question, Wayne.
Answer it.
I've got a light shining in my face, so
it's very bright today.
You just need to waterboard me. Yeah, let me turn that down. Sorry.
Why would we care what's going on over there? Like, do we care who's in charge of the Tories? Do we care that Boris Johnson, resigned but hasn't left? Like, why here in America or around the world do we care what's happening over there?
I don't think you should, because really and truly, we've just we've taken a 12 gauge and just aimed it at both our feet at the same time and just gone.
You're like, actually, we're gonna build the wall around us.
Yeah, we're like, remember that episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin's being chased by the British in the car, and he goes down in the sinking ship. That's basically what we're doing right now. No, I mean, to be fair, there's only a couple of years left in this particular parliament, so whoever gets put in place is a placeholder, in my opinion, because I think that the country has had enough of the Tory government, and they would need to pull up trees to get themselves re-elected. So, and the other thing is, all of the policies that these so-called candidates are proposing, like they're saying, day one, we're going to do tax cuts. We're going to do tax cuts here, tax cuts there. The problem with tax cuts is it means that you're having to take money away from public expenditure to allow for these tax cuts. So that means money away from the police, NHS, schools, all this kind of thing. But they're dressing
Good.
up. You'll have more money in your pockets. You'll have more money in your pockets. Not me, not the likes of me,
Right.
but the people in the upper echelons of the tax brackets will. So that's what they're banking on. And unfortunately, because we've got a lot of temporary frustrated millionaires over here, they all believe that they'll be in that tax bracket. So they'll be encouraged to vote for said candidate in future because they think they're going to end up with more money in their pocket. When in reality, it's just going to be the shareholders, the stakeholders, the CEOs. They're the ones who are going to have the more money. Us mockles down on the street. Nah.
Yeah, if you're getting
You're
paid
right.
hourly, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna help you.
No, not
It's
in the
not-
slightest.
If your
And
salary's under 6 figures, it's not gonna
Hey,
help.
sir.
And
Some more.
we on these like, you know, middle to lower rungs of the ladder, we don't itemize our taxes
Like,
at all. So we can't, the tax breaks come from like, oh, if you have, you know, a certain size yacht. Well, we don't do that here. We don't we don't itemize how many cars we own. We don't itemize how many dishes of fine French china that we own. We don't do that. We don't put insurance on that because we're poor people. We're average people.
We
don't
some
do that.
brokies.
So when it comes to tax breaks, and you know, we just had that over here, and if you remember, Wayne, it screwed up our economy. Because Trump did the tax breaks for the rich, thinking that if the rich have more money, then it's going to trickle down to the workers. But in reality, they just bought back shares of their companies.
Yeah.
They did it for themselves. They, you know.
100%.
So, you know, I'm going to warn you all there in the UK that these tax breaks, you know, are not going to help your economy. They're actually going to harm your economy to the point where you're going to be stuck with what we had to be stuck with. And we're slowly recovering from that, because what Trump did to us, and which, guess what? The same thing happened with Bush, right? He left a recession, and then Obama is like clamoring to bring it back.
Yeah.
And then he was seen as the bad guy, and that's what's going to happen. Your Tories are going to destroy your economy. You're gonna get your Labor parties in power, and they're gonna be climbing up, trying to salvage what is left of your.
Well, even right now, there's a guy, leader of the RMT, a guy called Mick Lynch, no relation, and he's taken out his members on strike on the 27th of this month.
Ooh.
Because under strike laws you have to give 2 weeks notice, and he's given a 2 weeks notice. So now all the media are going, oh, you're taking everyone on strike the day before the Commonwealth Games, you're trying to disrupt the Commonwealth Games. It's like, no, I've got to give 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Here's your 2 weeks. You know. And he's been demonized, but he's come out as a massive champion for the people of this country. And he's like, because everyone, as soon as you start saying, oh, train drivers earn 40 grand a year or 60 grand a year, they then go, oh, but nurses don't get that. Well, then nurses should have a better union.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, let's pull everyone down so everyone's on minimum wage.
Right.
Let's elevate everyone. And Mick Lynch has been a massive champion of this. And unfortunately, because of the client media that I spoke about earlier, he's been demonised. And he's, oh, look at all these unions, always wanting more. They get paid enough. And we're just been told to fight amongst ourselves, like cats in a sack.
Yeah.
When in reality,
like
we should all
that
be
person is making more money than you, so you should be working harder. In reality, it's like, why don't you just pay me more?
Yeah, but no, that means you're taking money out of the rich people's pockets. They're not going to be able to have a 7th Ferrari this year.
Oh.
Poor Jeff Bezos can't go to
But
space.
them's the breaks.
Oh yeah, and Elon Musk. Oh no, he
Oh,
can't
yeah,
buy Twitter
there's-
anymore. He's run out of money.
Oh, thank God he's not getting Twitter. And then Twitter's going to sue him. Oh my God, it's so fantastic.
I said, no. You're buying this.
No, you
Yeah.
said you'd buy it. You told us that you'd buy it. So
Yeah, you
either
come
you
round.
give it, either you buy it or you give us the money that you owed us. So
Mate, you didn't just come around and kick the tyres. You took it for a test drive, put a deposit down. It's your car.
yeah, you're done.
Yeah, you insisted on doing the test drive without pants on. So this seat is
Yeah, it's yours.
this is
You break, you buy.
this is yours now.
Yeah, you claimed it.
Uh,
This
that's
from
good.
this from the chat. If the government can calculate inflation, cost of living, tax rates, etc., why can't they calculate a living wage?
Yeah.
If
Well,
only they could like add a couple numbers together.
The problem is they have the two things are different, aren't they? You've got the living wage and you've got the minimum wage. So
They
don't
don't
think that-
match up.
I don't think there should be a minimum wage. I think there should only be a living wage. That should be the minimum.
yeah. What you mean, like universal basic income?
I mean,
Stop
I
with your
haven't- I
your
haven't,
Star Trek utopia.
I haven't checked in on my boy Yang in a while. I heard he popped off with some weird shit.
Yeah.
But I was
He's gone proper wonky.
yeah, I was on my
Spooky.
sabbatical from politics. I was taking a break from it all. It was getting too much. Me and the wife went on our trip, and then that's I guess when he decided to be an idiot. So I guess I'll have
Yeah.
to look into that today. But
Yeah.
speaking of looking at things, damn, he's good today, man.
It's just
You're gonna have to make me pee in a cup after this show because I am fucking crushing it.
Wow.
All right.
Is a nearby star-forming region within our own Milky Way galaxy, about 7,600 light years away. And in this view, we see some great examples, first of all, of hundreds of new stars that we've never seen before. We see examples of...
So, Wayne, see something you noticing what I'm noticing?
Mm,
And this is from CNN, everybody on audio. Sorry, I forgot. We're looking at some of the footage
from the James Webb
from
Telescope.
the James Webb Telescope. But do you see anything wrong with this frame, Wayne?
No, point it out to me. I'm being.
Why you double dipping, Brenna? I seen you on
Oh.
CNN, Brenna, with your little space degree. You thought I forgot about that, huh? Why you over here on CNN running around on us? You ain't loyal, Brenna.
bring Pluto back.
I think it's in there somewhere.
Might as well be.
I think it's a tiny little thing down in the bottom corner.
Nah, that's on your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, me.
Yeah.
So that's a chocolate.
That's a bit of a sneeze I forgot about.
Chocolate.
I hope it's a sneeze.
That is.
I told you. I told you. Our conversation prior to this. I'm telling you.
Full circle.
We'll make a Patreon clip so people on Patreon can hear it. Well, we're not saying that on air. Nope. Go to patreon.com/TheBinPodcast. You'll see the clip.
Yeah.
But yes, Brenna, you take the lead on this, shall you? With your big old brain.
I'm just gonna be like, woohoo! So, I believe a few months ago we were talking about the James Webb Telescope and how excited we were about what we could see, what we could learn, what new stuff that we can find out there in our big giant expanding universe. So they finally released some of the first images. These are, I believe, test images. They're checking it out, making sure everything is working properly, and we got some of the most beautiful we got some deep field images. We got this nebula image that is on your screen. I'm really excited that we're gonna see so much more than what we've ever known, and we're gonna be able to study the composition of our universe.
That's the best part.
We're gonna know exactly how many little tiny molecules are out there. You guys don't have any idea how excited about that.
Mikey, could you quickly resend me the link in Messenger?
Oh.
What link?
To the Skype.
Just hit invite down the bottom left. And then you can drop it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So Mikey, let's watch a little bit more about these images.
Faux show.
Bubbles and cavities and jets that are being blown out by these newborn stars. We even see some galaxies sort of lurking in the background up here. We see examples of structures that, honestly, we don't even know what they are. Like, what's going on here?
I just wanted her to do it.
What's going on here?
Actually, let me get over to my other thing on my stream deck. I'm taking a clip of her. That's so perfect. That's so perfect.
I don't even.
Okay.
See sort of lurking in the background up here. We see examples of structures that, honestly, we don't even know what they are. Like, what's going on here? The data is just so rich.
Got it.
And there's something really special about the infrared. Infrared can actually see deeper into these star-forming regions.
Absolutely. That's one of the great things about infrared is it really does reveal what's going on here in a really cosmic sense. And in general, what's happening in sort of this overall landscape is we have these gigantic, hot, young stars up here to the top of the rim, and
so much of space talk is so dirty.
It's so dirty.
It's so dirty.
Everything's hot.
Dense.
radiation.
Do you remember that? Sorry, do you remember that very early episode of Enterprise with T'Pol and Archer in the Sonic shower?
Yeah, that was like almost the first episode.
That was pretty much borderline.
Yeah. that was sexy.
Talk nerdy to me.
Solar winds from those stars is sort of pushing down and running into all of this. This is gas and dust. And of course, we know that gas and dust is great.
That's not
raw
sexy.
Material.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Gas, dust. Not doing it for me.
Pushes.
I feel chafing.
It just
there's gas coming out.
Rams up against each other.
There's a gas problem. There's a gas leak.
Newborn stars and baby planets. But there's a flip side to this story, and also
Granted, don't be triggered by the talk of baby planets.
These same processes can serve to sort of erode away this material and stop star formation.
Planets
so we have this sort of delicate balance going on of new.
Yeah, they got rid of Roe v. Wade, so Pluto's a planet again.
New stars being
there you
formed,
go.
but at the same time, the star formation is being halted.
So wrong.
And for me, when I see an image like this, I can't help but think about scale. You know, every dot of light we see here is an individual star, not unlike our sun, and many of these likely also have planets. And it just reminds me that, you know, our sun and
why the fuck don't we have a fucking star in the middle of the nebula with all the cool shit?
We do, we just can't see it because we're in it.
We're not in a nebula.
We're not in a nebula.
We're not in a nebula. We're formed.
We're done already.
Yeah, we're formed. Also, I just want to point out, there's something, I don't think she had mentioned this or something, but she was talking about scale and stuff. But if you notice the stars or those points of light that have like the starbursts around them, those stars are actually close to us, and it's how the camera is kind of held in place. So it creates this weird little star formation. So those stars that you see have those starbursts are actually closer to us than they are to the nebula. So like it's misleading the way that was kind of said. But those stars, those bursts are actually close stars to us, usually within our galaxy or within our purview. So
yeah, get out
just
of the way,
letting you guys
nerd.
know.
Out of the way, nerds.
just letting you guys
down
giving
in,
you dropping
down,
some knowledge.
Down in front, we're trying to get a picture of this nebula. God.
Yeah.
Our planets and ultimately us were formed out of the same kind of stuff that we see here. We humans really are connected to the universe. We're made of the same stuff in this beautiful landscape.
And actually, the Carina Nebula was one of my favorite images from Hubble. So Hubble looked at this as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The Hubble image of this is also spectacular. We saw it in a different kind of light when Hubble took an image of this particular nebula. And then you can see amazing.
Okay, so her images, those are fine, right? Those are great. I found the only good thing on Twitter the other day.
Uh-oh.
Let me see if I can find it on my profile. Because I retweeted. I think you said something on it, Brenna. Or you liked it. You liked my comment.
I did I liked your slidey comment. I said
this
something.
Guy.
Didn't
this thing.
What did I put on that?
Okay. Let me go back to the share. And I'm going to go full screen for this. Okay, so that's the Hubble. And this is the James Webb. And if you're not on the Twitch feed right now, you should be. Sorry, audio people.
Yeah, you have to see it. You can go on Mikey's Twitter and find it, but it's really interesting about how much light information is now being, taken, is being collected. So we always think of telescopes as buckets, right? And what those buckets hold is light, or the spectrum, within the spectrum. So the Hubble telescope is like a little bucket that you have that you put a little bit of water in and you can play in it like a kid's sand bucket. But what we are looking at is like the comparison to like a swimming pool of light. It's amazing how much information we are getting.
So
from
the render is incredible.
Yeah,
so of course,
gonna love this.
like just letting you guys know about like cameras and telescope cameras. They do false color, so they're brought in as sort of a black and white kind of image, and then through the process of determining those little kind of factors of changes in light, then they do a false color, or they do the false color. So it looks pretty close to what it actually is, just by the colors, the compositions. We can analyze the spectrum, and so we're able to see a little bit more. They turn it into this beautiful image. It's spectacular.
We over here fighting over what?
Exactly.
Here is Stefan's quintet.
No, that's
Hubble.
That's Hubble.
Wow.
And then this is.
That's Hubble. This is. Look at all that information.
Right. Talk about spectroscopy for a second.
Spectroscopy. Okay, so we can take because now there's actual spectrometers on the telescope, so it actually reads what type of light. So it's the prism thing. It splits it up and it shows what bands of light there are, and that when you look at that, you can actually determine what elements are actually there because of what lines of color, what lines of light they get. And the finer you get along that spectrum, the more precise your numbers are. You can figure out how much of it. You can figure out what type of is. With that you can figure out age, distance. You can figure out what is being created there based on that. You can also figure out how fast it's going. So we can determine the speed of a planet orbiting a star by how much what we say blue shift or red shift through around that star, which can also determine how heavy it is, which means that we can determine how big it is, what type of elements it is. We can determine if a planet is livable, if it could have life on it. We can determine how old galaxies are and whether or not they can form planets like ours. So the more information, the more light we get, the better we are at pinpointing exactly how old things are, what their compositions are, and whether or not they could sustain life. And now we get to see a deep field. So on is the deep field. We have the Hubble deep field, which means that they just took a little point of the sky and left it there for a little while, gathered up a lot of light. And then so between the Hubble and the James Webb, we see a lot more gravitational lensing, which is the way that light bends around high gravity objects such as black holes or other types of galaxies. So it kind of bends around. So the gravitational lensing, and then we see this whole sort of swirl. It's very cool.
I love it.
I think it's fascinating the way that we can just stare at an image and learn so much about it just from an image.
Right.
Not even from the information, but to see the colors. The colors are meaningful. So different colors, different elements. So like hydrogen and helium. You'll have something like an orange or yellow, just like ours, where when you get into heavier elements, you'll see bluers, and you'll be able to determine what they're made out of. So it's amazing what we can see.
I love having such knowledgeable friends. It's fantastic. But what we're forgetting in all this importance is my sports team is better than your sports team. End of discussion.
Okay. Because you know what, that's important to you, and we'll stick with that.
So there was one last thing that the web released some information on. Did you see this yet, Brenna?
No, I have not seen it.
Ooh, we got a hot take. Here we go.
I've only seen the images because I love the imagery.
So they pointed it at an exoplanet, a hot gas exoplanet that I think
gas.
The gas is just not hot. Like it takes all the sexy out of science.
All that gas.
But I think it orbits its sun in 3 days. So it's one of those fast and hot giants. So it's probably thousands of degrees, but that motherfucker is cooking for a Jupiter-sized planet to be orbiting its star in 3 days. That motherfucker is on the spin. But if you look here, we have some spectrograph readings, and we have found multiple traces of water.
Yay.
And wherever we find water.
So water means life, or the possibility of life.
Wherever we find water, it's there.
Yep.
So there you go. You're not alone. You're not so alone after all. There's probably some glip glorp from Fluty Flop who feels the same way you do. And he's going to look up in that night sky and give you the finger. And fuck that guy. That's why fuck the aliens. We're fucking taking them out. I'm sick of their shit. Will Smith.
This is why that's why I sent you that clip of Family Guy, because if you don't know this clip, I'll just describe it because Family Guy is kind of weird like that. Where they took a clip of Carl Sagan, the man, the myth, the legend, Carl Sagan,
Billions
talking
and billions.
introduction of his Cosmos show. But they replace the science terms with religious terms in order to make it so that rednecks can listen to it. And one of the things was that instead of saying the universe was created, billions of years ago from the Big Bang, it's just God.
And then the diner, Jesus soar.
Or it's so good, and sorry, but this all reminds me of that kind of stuff. I love it. I love science. I love everything that comes from science, and I love the mysteries behind science.
On Speaking from the Center yesterday, where I was a guest, we talked all about it, and we looked up because I remember Landon saying something that, oh yeah, it's gonna be in position on this day, and I was like, all right. So we're talking like a week for the images. He's like, no, it's gonna be like almost August. So I was like, what the fuck? This is bullshit.
That's how it works, man.
So the cooling down, they took that very seriously. It's 7 degrees Kelvin.
Yeah.
What?
Nearly absolute zero.
I think it's like negative 744 Fahrenheit and negative 380 something in Celsius. Like, it's staggeringly, like, I didn't know things could be that cold on purpose.
I didn't. Professor Howe explained to us about absolute zero and how that's where everything freezes. There's nothing can escape from absolute zero.
There is very little molecular momentum going on out there on that fucking telescope, or at least on the infrared sensor, because that's how we get images like that, because the camera is that cold. It can detect those differences in heat, which gives us those much more refined, clearer images.
It allows more information to come into the camera, and then the camera is able to stick that all together into what we just saw, which was beautiful, and we were able to see the diversity in the shadow and the color.
And Mikey, how long did you say it takes for the camera to process? Because you said Landon said it won't be till August before we get the image.
That's what he said. That's what. Well, I guess maybe they're ahead of schedule or whatever. But I don't know if it was August or mid-July or something like that. But he said it was going to be months.
They have to download all that.
There is a strange person that's just appeared on my screen. And Mikey's doing some jiggery pokery in the background. So me and Brendan are going to talk amongst ourselves while he's doing that.
No, that's going to be good. I like that.
What, jiggery pokery?
Jiggery pokery. So who's excited about Doctor Who?
I'm excited for the fallout. I can't wait.
It's gonna be horrible. I love it.
Why are sci-fi nerds such right-wing divs sometimes?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
It makes no sense.
I actually started watching Sex Education.
I've not seen that
yet. I'm sorry, what? What are you watching?
Oh, you gotta watch it. It's on Netflix.
Hello, Graham.
All right.
Hello. Hi. Sorry, I couldn't hear you for a moment then. I was plugged into the wrong hole.
Welcome to the BinPodcast.
Sorted it, mate.
And we're done.
I'm in the red room from Twin Peaks, so all the Gen Xers will get this reference.
Sorry.
Right. Pants or no pants? That's the next.
I've got pants on. I've got jeans.
We don't need proof. It's fine.
Yeah, no. You just have to say.
But if it didn't have pants on, I think you'd want proof of that as well. So
you know, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, Graham. We've been streaming with Sharthan for years, and he did have that period where it was dicey whether or not that man was wearing pants.
No, we actually had to ask him prior to the stream.
Yeah, like
whether or not he was wearing pants.
It's like I don't believe you. Stand up. Yeah, motherfucker, get some damn pants on.
We had to send him away.
Yeah.
I feel like I've come in the middle of something. Excuse me. Yeah, because you've got hot gas giant exoplanet WASP 96b atmosphere composition. What are we looking at? What's going on? I thought we were going to talk politics.
Well, we had to busy ourselves before you got here.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about.
There's a lot of stalling for time. So.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
This is how we feel.
Yeah.
Well, there seems to be a lot of water.
Yes, that's an exoplanet that the James Webb just found.
Oh wow! Well done, James. Round of applause for James, everyone.
Well done, Jimmy.
Finding planets, exoplanets.
I think James is dead, but
Oh, I'm sorry. My condolences.
No, my button didn't work.
His legend will live on.
My button failed me.
So what? He found the planet and then he died. Bloody hell, that's awful.
Them's the breaks.
There it is.
Oh God.
All right, let me just test it.
Them's the breaks.
Yes, it's ready. Okay. It was a bit delayed the first time, so.
Yeah, Graham, you missed the conversation on. We can go back to it.
Yeah,
I got it open.
Well, my partner's got a PhD in physics, so I could bring her on. She'll probably know more. Oh God, no! What are you showing me?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh, I feel ill now.
Yes.
Drink it.
Embrace it.
I've just taken a sip of my tea. I would have spat it out in a comedy, kind of British comedy for sitcom of the 70s.
Just a big spray, a big plume of tea.
God, it's like a very dispiriting game of Guess Who, isn't it?
It's a really shit X Factor.
Did you see Liz Truss getting lost in a room today?
No, I've not seen any
so
TV footage.
Imagine the Crystal Maze, and her job is to get out of the room that she's just gone into, and she couldn't do that. And there's people shouting from outside, "Just come out the door, Liz!" And she's like, "I don't know what to do. Just walk out of the door you walked into." Honestly, there's 1.2 million views on this video so far on Twitter, and I think that's it for our leadership challenge now, because she literally.
Well, that's fine.
Hold on, Graham.
How could you not be able to get out of the room that you just got into?
Now hold on.
How?
You're pulling a Wayne on us.
Yes.
You're speaking.
I'll do it.
You're speaking in British. We have no idea what that show is.
What are you talking about?
What is this? What I want to laugh.
Liz Truss, who's second from left on the picture there, she's the famous pork markets lady, who got very upset that 2/3 of all cheese is imported into Britain, and she said that was disgrace, in the same tone like your head teacher telling you off for smashing all the windows. Anyway, she gave a press conference today where presumably she walked into the room through a door, and then at the end of the press conference she tried to walk off, but the camera's still rolling. And there was no door, or the door was locked, I don't know. And she had to be told by an aide to sort of go the other way.
Is that the video?
It was a little bit embarrassing.
Is that the video, Wayne?
Yeah,
when I say a little bit embarrassing, it was mortifying. And there were people in the room laughing their heads off because they thought it was so hilarious that she couldn't even suss out how to escape. She gets lost trying to leave room after telling Tories she should be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
I'll explain to you what the Crystal Maze was. The Crystal Maze was a 90s game show hosted by Richard O'Brien off of
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show. And basically you had a team of 6 people. Yeah. You had a team of 6. They all had to go into these different zones and play different games. There was mental, there was physical.
You know, like escape. Do you have escape rooms?
Escape rooms, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a small escape room. So you had to do a task, you had to do a challenge, you had to figure something out,
like
and then
Legends
you'd
of
win
the
a crystal.
Hidden Temple.
Oh, there you go. That's better.
If you time and
relate to that.
Go on, make that full screen. Where's the full screen? Oh, it's just loading.
It won't
That's
load.
terrible internet, that is. Get me
I
money
mean-
back if I were you. What's all your little other tabs?
I got a lot of tabs
I
going.
was
Let's get
like
some
looking
of
at other
those.
people's tabs. January the 6th.
Yeah,
Try a little wanking. What's
I
that
bet
say?
it. I bet it was this one.
I'm trying to
Oh,
see if you
Again,
No, that was in
was
an-
before the show.
That was
You
an
seem to be in
incognito tab.
incognito mode.
Yeah, it's incognito. There's no way you can see that.
Yeah,
As
I
I
don't know
stream
if
it
it'll
out.
load up. It might be copyright only the UK.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I can.
So you
I'll
want to
look for it on
get you want to get
YouTube.
your VPN out, your visible panty
Yes. Network.
network.
I've got it.
Let's see.
Wayne's got it.
He says
Wayne's
that.
here.
Wayne
Liz
can pull it out.
Truss door.
Excuse me.
Booyaka.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring it up.
Yeah.
Oh, what the?
What?
Thank you.
No, that's
Thank
Trump.
you, everybody, for
Okay.
the questions. Very good to see you.
I'll try and get out. Get the crystal. Get the crystal. Just get out. Just get out the room. Get out. Get out. Walk out the room, Liz. Just walk out.
Turn
not
left,
that way.
turn left.
It's right, the other way. Now look
This
at the
way.
left corner. Still look at people buzzing off it. There's a girl.
Turn
She's there. There she is. Can't stop laughing.
It's just like, no.
You know what? That was only 20
Thank
seconds.
you.
Let me get it
Thank
again.
you, everybody, for the questions.
Let
Very
me get
good
it
to
again.
see you.
Let me get that one more again.
Is that
Like-
Quasi Quasang?
Where do we go? What do we do? Out this way. This way. I like the way the guy who comes out is like Igor. He's kind of like hunched over. This way.
Miss.
Come
Master.
with me. Come with me if you want to live.
Now, if you would have did it like John Connor, that would have been. I think she would have won the fucking. She would have won the fucking.
Just
whatever,
like
the vote.
grab her and just go,
Alright.
come with me.
He's got like
Oh,
the jean denim jacket.
I think there's a little bit of
Machine
chicanery
gun.
going on here.
What?
Graham, forgive me. Am I right in saying that was Quasi Quasang that whispered in her ear as she was walking out?
His name is
Well, do you
Quasi.
Yeah.
Quatang.
Do you think he said straight ahead, love?
The wrong footer.
It's a
I like to
footer.
think so. I like to think so. Oh, how embarrassing.
I would
I'm
do
getting
that.
vibes of Veep. Did you ever watch Veep on the
I watched a-
television?
I watched a few.
Japanese
Yeah.
and stuff?
I watched some Veep.
Yeah,
I started it.
Veep vibes I was getting from that.
It's funny.
No, what is Veep?
What's Veep?
Julia Marie Dreyfus.
You know the thick of it
Julia Louis Dreyfus.
Yeah,
with Peter Capaldi from Doctor Who.
Yes.
Yes, playing Malcolm Tucker. It's the American version of that.
Oh, okay.
It's written by Armando Minucci, so it's the same sort of jokes and stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm sure Brennan nearly had an aneurysm there.
And
Peter Capaldi.
It's got the girl out of My Girl in it, which is the only
really?
good. It was the only good Macaulay Culkin film because he fucking died in it. Yes.
Oh.
Wow.
It's a kid.
Poor Macaulay. He's had a rough life.
Brutal.
Right now.
Yeah.
He does reviews of like old 1970s movies on YouTube now. I quite like him.
Isn't he also in the latest American Horror Story?
Ooh,
I think
he
so.
might be.
The vampire one.
Somebody said something about that.
Yeah, no, he is. I watched a few episodes of it. Yeah.
I can't get down on American Horror Story, man.
The Apocalypse was the best one.
It's too creepy.
The Apocalypse was the best one because it kind of brought all the other series together and showed that there was an underlying link between all of them.
Well,
so I
I
love
mean-
the fact that. Go on, sorry.
You're sitting there on your couch watching this thing, something's happening, and then fucking centipedes out of a skull. It's like, why you gotta heebie-jeebie me right now? I don't want it. Like, what is going on? Like, the show is dark, twisted.
I think centipedes out of a living human face would be scarier.
Don't give him
a human centipede coming out of someone's eye.
Yeah, see, now that's gonna be the next episode.
Yeah.
Right,
They're
no.
big watchers of the show.
That reminds me of that scene in Arachnophobia where the spider comes out the nose. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that. I think I buried that childhood trauma so far down. It's
Well, they're doing a remake, so it's coming back.
That's it.
The
I'll be
scary
doing it.
dude, Tremors was scary for me back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Now I love
Tremors,
it.
But then it just turned into a B movie, didn't it?
Dude,
Hey,
there's
mate,
five
when I
of
was a kid,
them.
I was scared of the Moomins when I was a kid. It was creepy as hell.
The what is it?
There's a very niche European reference.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Wow.
Tell me more.
It was a cartoon by a Finnish lesbian.
The Mermans?
The Moomins. They were
Moomins.
small hippos.
Mins. There you
Oh,
go.
Mins.
Moomins. There you go.
Oh,
Terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, this is bad.
Ooh.
This is nightmare fuel.
It was all very melancholy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Obviously made by someone who hadn't seen the sunlight for like, I don't know, 24 days or maybe half a year.
What is?
I don't know how come we don't get sunshine in Finland.
Why
They're
are
like
there?
little hippos.
What's up with what
And the
drugs
one
are
on the
they
left,
on?
the one on the left is Yartan.
Look at
The
those
little girl.
Look at those pupils.
Jartan would know all about this. Where is Jartan?
He's funeral
come back
today.
with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're in our hearts, young man.
Yes. We'll see him eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Yeah, but this looks like a terrible show. Don't show it to your kids.
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I think it was
Unless you
kind
want to scare them.
I watched them back on YouTube and they were actually scary. I watched them back as an adult and I was like, yeah, actually, these were terrifying.
There's some childhood shit that I watched. Like I watched as an adult. I'm like, why would you show this to kids? Like not the Dark Crystal. What's the Secret of Nim? There's parts in that are properly terrifying. Bluth is an asshole.
Dark Crystal's pretty dark as well.
I was going to say Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal was pretty good.
Was it Tangina who talked about the Great Conjunction? She was scary as fuck.
Oh no, you're talking about Ogra.
Was it Ogra?
Yeah.
No, Tangina's from fucking Poltergeist, isn't she?
Yeah.
That was a scary film, especially when my sister's called Carol Ann as well.
And then she would fuck. Like I never like it when people take parts of their body off of their body. So when she would pluck her eyeball out to look at shit, I'm like, oh, that's just no. Stop it.
To
Beetlejuice.
be fair, that was Frank Oz's best work. Like, because he did Yoda, he did all of the Star Wars stuff.
He was
Fozzie
awesome.
Bear. That's why Yoda sounds like Fozzie Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Waka waka waka.
Didn't he do he was someone else in Sesame Street.
Frank Oz.
Yeah.
Oh, he lots of them, wasn't he?
Yeah, Frank Oz was loads of it. He was basically the go-to guy. Because he did all the stop motion for the Tauntauns and all that sort of stuff.
Fun fact: he was born in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, would you look at that? The invasion never stopped, did it?
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
we're done.
Nope.
Build the
and
wall.
what we did,
Build the
we,
wall.
we filmed the majority of the Star Wars franchise in Britain and then sold it to you Americans.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but at least Star Wars was invented by an American. The Harry Potter series was invented by a British person. It was directed by a Brit. Well, the later episodes were.
Yeah.
It was filmed in Britain, British production company, but all the money went to Warner Brothers because we didn't want to make the movie ourselves. These obviously movies that were going to make an absolute fortune at the box office, guaranteed. And we're like, nah, we'll get someone else to do it. We'll get some foreigners to do it for us. Can't be bothered.
Bert, Grover, and
Hang
Cookie
on
Monster.
a minute. Hang on a minute, Graham. You're talking about us British taking advantage of foreign labour and then sending all the money overseas.
Foreign capital.
Foreign
British people
capital.
won't spend any money. British people don't invest. British people don't have share portfolios. All the people who would do that were either, people who would go across to America for fun, or people who go to Australia because they've been caught and thrown in jail. So, like, all the people who were left are all very conservative. But English people are generally very just conservative, and the only investment they'll ever make is in a house.
That's very true.
So here's
And then
the
they think they're the fucking Wolf of Wall Street because they bought the house for £2.50 30 years ago, and now it's worth $500,000. Wow!
So there you go. There's your
Bert and
boyfriend,
Ernie.
guys. Yeah, he was Bert,
Jim
and
Henson.
Jim Henson was Ernie.
Wow. There's some stories behind that.
Yep.
Well, they were supposed to be the odd couple, weren't they? They were supposed to be based on Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about Statler and what's his
Waldorf?
chops?
Statler and Waldorf. They were probably
Yeah.
based on it as well, but a different movie.
You gotta switch it up, Wayne. You can't come in there stale.
Yep.
All right, calm down. It's all in the same show.
These kids like fresh, damn it. These drooling idiots.
It was funny watching American shows growing up because American TV back then was only 480 lines, whereas ours was 625. So basically, any American show, whether it was MASH or Dallas or Sesame Street, it always looked really, really crap on British televisions. I mean, most things looked crap in the 80s anyway, but American TV looked particularly crap because the quality just was a bit less, the NTSC quality. But now it's all high definition and it's all good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not, you know, there was a lot of it was all coming over on like 1-inch tape and things like that.
Yeah.
Coming over, you know, it was all copy.
It was all a bit sketchy. But a lot of those shows were actually filmed on film and then they were telecinied or whatever it's called onto television. So the actual originals are in pretty much high definition.
That's why I'm a massive fan of I don't know if you've seen it. You probably have, Graham. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Oh yeah, that's great.
It's the best thing ever.
That's a very funny alternative show.
I did 6 episodes and done. Brenna, I implore you. I know you would definitely get the humour.
All right.
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. It's hilarious.
Has that got Matt Berry in it? Was that Matt Berry?
Yes. Yeah.
Love Matt Berry.
The guy from What We Do in the Shadows.
That was his breakout show.
It was, yeah.
And Richard Iodi as well.
Oh yeah. No, but he was in the It Crowd as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that was his first thing. He played Dean Lerner. Doctor and Renegade. Big fan of the shotgun.
So what are we talking about tonight? I thought I'd come in at the end of the show for 10 minutes. I still seem to be beer.
You're an actual like trusted source across the pond. Wayne lies to us all the time. He makes up stuff. Like he told us that Boris had Homelander powers. That turned out to be a lie. He told me Lizzie turned into a corgi. That turned into a lie. I mean,
imagine Homelander with no superpowers. That's Boris Johnson.
Gross.
Yeah, who do you think they modeled Homelander off of? Trump.
I thought a little bit of Trump.
A little bit of Trump.
Have you watched it all? Is everyone up to date on The Boys?
I am.
Very much so.
I don't want
to drop any spoilers.
What? You haven't watched it at all?
No, I watched one and then I fell asleep and I realised that the entire series had played while I was asleep.
There's a scene in which one of the main characters does what Donald Trump said he could do. He literally kills someone on Fifth Avenue in front of a massive crowd, and they're all a bit shocked for a few moments, and then they go, yeah!
Then they celebrate. Yeah. Oh.
And you're watching it, and you just feel sick to your stomach, and you're like, that is Trump right there.
And
that's Donald Trump and the Trumpettes. Ivana Trump's cocked it.
Who was that?
I should have led with that.
She's tapped out.
Yeah, she must have found some info on Trump that he wasn't too happy about. People
she ain't testifying now, is she?
Novichok.
There's one thing about The Boys that I now that there's a fellow boy watcher here, the Boys watcher. What am I saying? I love how like the satire and the political commentary is great, but you know how like certain movies or shows they kind of like a lot of horror stuff, because you guys like horror, like they kind of like assault the audience, they attack the audience. I think The Boys' target is chuds. Like every super masculine hyper Chad dude that's out there, every alpha male out there is like, oh, big tough guy, huh? Here, look at some dicks.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that, like they're so blatant about it, and they'll be like a side boob in an episode, and the guy's like, yeah. 10 seconds later, there's a dick. Every time you see boobs, you are guaranteed to see dick.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a very woke show. It's probably one of the most woke shows on TV. But in this season, there was a scene in which a guy who could shrink down to the size of a termite.
Spoiler.
Wayne, you might want to cover your ears on this bit, mate.
Yeah.
He climbed into another man's member, and then he accidentally went back to normal size. And you can imagine just how horrific that was to watch. I'm still having nightmares. But yeah, basically, the whole thing comes across as a big fuck you
Here,
to the
I'm gonna.
anti.
I'll show you. I'll
Okay.
show you a reenactment of my reaction, Wayne. What is the? Oh, it's in the. Oh, he's gonna stay. No, and then it was over, and then it was all over.
It sounds like, because I don't know if you watch American Gods. That was a very weird show.
Yeah,
I watched the first.
It's just as gory. It loves
Really?
It's like Ash versus Evil Dead. It's just full on gore.
Yep.
Everyone gets splattered with blood at some point in each episode. It's pretty horrific. But it's all done in a little bit of a tongue in cheek way. Like people explode like they don't in normal life.
How do you know?
I've done some experiments in my basement. Why are you asking? What's it to you?
What are you, a cop?
Is this why he was asking me about extra insulation in your property? Just the other day.
Am I being detained or am I free to go? That's all I want to know.
We're having a heat wave, and I'm like, how do I insulate my house better, Wayne?
I'm looking mostly for sound deadening.
Yeah.
How does your insulation do with sound?
What are the acoustic properties of the insulation that you deal with?
Because I have really noisy neighbors.
Yeah.
And I need my sleep.
Especially in their basement.
Yeah, I have to go down there. They're so loud. That's why I want to insulate the basement so I can get.
Yeah.
Geez, you see these bags under my eyes. I just need a good night's rest.
Exactly.
Right?
So Graham, is there anything that you wanted to talk about politics? Is there anything that's grind your gears today?
Well, are we all caught up that our lying, cheating, philandering scumbag of a prime minister has finally said he'll resign? He hasn't actually resigned because that requires him to go to the actual Queen and say, I resign, which he hasn't done. But as a result of his said resignation, the Conservative Party, the ruling party, are now having a decision-making process to decide who becomes leader of the Conservative Party and therefore Prime Minister. So this is a little bit like Mitch McConnell or Chuck Schumer becoming the leader of America by dint of being the most popular person within the house, the lower house in America, rather than a popular vote like the president. There's a good thing and a bad thing about that. The bad thing is that they can pull shit like this where they can change the leader without an election, which is a bit shit. But also the good thing is they can change a leader without an election, where because the mandate for governing for a leader in the UK isn't based on the fact that they are the leader of that party. That party can lead, but not them individually. Whereas in a presidential system, you've obviously got a mandate from the people for 4 years or however long your term of office is. So it's we have a very strangely functioning democracy, which kind of creaks along, and it's a bit silly. Doesn't make much sense. The only problem is that when you get someone along like Boris Johnson, who just takes the piss completely out of the rules, the conventions, the gentlemen's agreements that bind Parliament together and society actually in the UK. There's not much we can do about it. But the good thing is about Boris Johnson is he is so vile and so ridiculous that he was always going to be his own undoing, because it's like Brexit. It's flawed from the start. Boris Johnson is a horribly flawed human being.
It's a bad plan.
Yeah. And I firmly believe that Brexit will eat itself the same way Boris Johnson has. So get to a point where things get so bad and you're like, oh, it can't possibly get any worse. So one of the things I was going to mention tonight is it came out in the news in the Financial Times today, because I'm a geek and I read things like that, that one of the major pub chains in the UK, which is called
Wetherspoons. Oh, no,
which is run by a fat scarecrow called Tim Martin. And he's a massive Brexiteer, so much so that, the beer mats that you have in bars, he made his own beer mats that says we should get out the EU and all this kind of stuff. Jesus. Anyway, now that we have left the EU, 1 in 7 hospitality staff have left the UK, which means that any kind of hospitality, whether it be pubs or bars or restaurants or hotels, are really suffering from a staff shortage, because we just don't have the workforce anymore, because they've all gone back to Europe because we said we didn't need them, led by this guy, this Tim Martin guy. And it just turns out that they were hoping to break even this year, which was a bit of a surprise because everyone thought after COVID, everyone would rush back to the pub and get as drunk as possible.
Right.
But as a direct result of Brexit, they haven't got enough people to staff the pubs, and therefore people aren't going to the pubs because they can't be asked waiting half an hour for a drink.
Yeah.
And instead of breaking even, they're actually going to lose £30 million this year. I don't know, that sounds massive, but I mean, they were hoping to break even. That's how bad things are. It's a direct result of the Brexit that Tim Martin lobbied for, that he fought for.
To your point, Graham, Stansted Airport last week, there was a 2-hour queue to get into the Wetherspoons.
Oh my
2-hour queue. And normally,
why would you wait that long to go into a fucking Wetherspoons?
Is that a grocery
well,
store?
The thing is, you're told to get there. You're told to get to your airport 2 hours before you're flying, right?
Yeah.
So you get to your airport, and they're like, you go to the pub in departures, and they're saying, no, it's a 2-hour wait before you can even get in and have a beer.
Yeah.
Everyone was just sitting on the floor. The place was absolutely rammed with people because no one could get into Cafe Nero, no one could get in at Burger King. There was queues for the M&S, sort of like self-service checkouts, everything. It was just rammed. There's no staff there. They had like 3 people in M&S.
Yeah. But it's okay, Wayne. We're going to make our own. We're going to make our own staff. We're going to start having sex right now, right immediately, just like in Russia where they have a day off work to have sex.
Brenna.
They literally have a day off work to have sex in Russia.
I'm in the wrong country.
You're baby.
21 years, Wayne. In 21 years, in 2043, we will have enough workers.
Wow.
Jobs today.
So be patient, y'all.
Put them on the big time machine and they go back in time 20 years. Or we could just reverse Brexit.
I'm just going to text Kerry and let her know what's coming on tonight.
Well, I mean, I watched a documentary where
Uh-oh. You and documentaries.
What do you mean?
I
don't know why you guys are laughing. I watched a documentary where a guy was able to use a bounty hunter to make a lot of soldiers.
Right.
Through cloning. So if you guys can get to Camino,
but
you could just make clones of the workers.
They're not very good at their job and they can't shoot straight.
They can't shoot shit for shit. Apart from the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch, they're decent.
the clone of the main guy who he brings up, he turns into a real fat bastard in later life.
He does.
Yeah, his show was very underwhelming. It got really overshadowed by...
I thought how he was going to get out the Sarlacc was going to be just literally got stuck in the pit. You know, like Augustus Gloop in Chocolate Factory. I think he got stuck in the neck, and the Sarlacc would be like, and then it like spit him out, and he'll fly across it because he's got his little rocket launcher on his back. He'll fly around.
God.
And then he makes like the little R2D2 sound like.
Hey, Boba.
No, he's
so fat in the Sarlacc. I don't understand. Was there a buffet down there?
No,
man, he's old.
He's got to do what's the name of that scream that they have in every single
Wilhelm.
Yeah, the Wilhelm scream is out of it.
That's so good.
Yeah. So no, cloning is off the agenda because that takes too long as well.
You could speed it up, but then just keep one for yourself and don't put the age speeding up process.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird.
That's how they did the clones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but them fuckers that were doing it with them long necks didn't trust them.
Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with people with long necks.
If you needed an army of people on one planet, you could probably get it together if you had money. And you're talking about a system of hundreds of planets. I don't really understand why they had to make clones.
Yeah, eventually they stopped and they just started subscripting people, which they could have did too.
And then
there was no empire yet.
Got enough money to make a Death Star. Was it insured? Is that how they made another one? Like
no,
seriously, they had the money to make a giant.
Are we going down this fucking road?
The second one,
space station.
I mean, I know the Clerks 3 is coming out, but we don't have to revisit that conversation.
I'm just saying.
So can you imagine Darth Vader flying away in his TIE Interceptor going, right, yeah, there's been an accident on the Death Star, right?
He's over there in his fucking TIE fighter spinning around, fucking talking about something. Well, this guy was clearly drunk, all right, and he hit me.
We were insured, right? The insurance actually kicked in.
They've got these Star Destroyers that can go at hyperspace, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And they're bigger than the asteroid that hit the Earth 65 million years ago that wiped out the dinosaurs. So could we get one of them, get all the personnel off it, put it on autopilot, and just crash it into the planet that you want to destroy?
There you go.
I figured that would be the goal because it doesn't matter how it hurts. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad.
I bet actually there's some explanation for this, which I will take, that planets have shields to stop that kind of thing happening, because Han Solo does mention it, doesn't he? He says
they answered that in the last film. All you need to do is take old technology from like 40 years ago, stick a massive gun on the bottom of it. Yeah. You don't need a Death Star. You're done. You're done.
You're good.
Fine.
Golden.
Because I mean,
so all that I'd be Palpatine was sitting there stewing like, fuck's sake, they blow up 2 of my things. Right, I'm building all of them.
Why spend 8 films establishing that Force ghosts are a thing, and that a ghost from the past can come and tell you things that you didn't know, right? Like Leia's your sister and stuff, right? And then in the 9th film, he came back in corporal form for some reason. Why didn't he just come back as a ghost?
Yes.
I can answer that as a bit of a nerd. In all of the Star Wars lore, the Timothy Zahn books and all the comics that came after Return of the Jedi.
Heir to the Empire.
Heir to the Empire, yeah. So you had Palpatine purposely built vats of clones, and he could be killed, and he would change his Force ghost into another clone. Like Dark Empire, there was a scene where
Dark Empire.
Yeah, there was
that was the Dark Horse comic, wasn't it?
That was a Dark Horse comic. All 6 of them are just there.
I hated it because they brought the Emperor back. I was like, no.
It was always going to happen. It was
Veto.
always going to happen. And also in that series of comics, they brought in the E-Wing, which was the most ridiculous ship.
It was shit.
It was like a Mini Cooper. Sorry, Mikey.
It's all right. Mando didn't hear you.
Okay, it's fine. But yeah, it was like a Mini Cooper, and they literally made it look like the letter E from above.
Yes. Because a Y-wing looks like a Y from above, and an X-wing looks like an X.
But a B, why'd you call it a B-wing?
Because it's a bomber,
Because it looks like a T, obviously.
No.
Duh.
T-wing was taken.
No.
T-wing sounds stupid. That's why they call it the B-wing.
No, they called it a B-wing because it looked like a blade. It looked like a sword. When the S-foils were deployed, it looked like the bit where the cockpit was the handle of the sword.
What are you doing there, Wayne? Show me again. Show me one more time. It goes where? Just saying.
Oh.
I'm not falling into your traps, you arsehole.
That's a trap.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we get back to business politics from this little sojourn over to the world of Star Wars?
It makes us happier.
Yeah.
Talk nerdy to me.
Yep.
Hey Wayne, have you ever been to a Star Wars premiere in Leicester Square?
No. I bet it's grim.
I have.
All right.
Well, you've had the Ray Liotta, so you know. Anyway, right. So
still bitter about that.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm in a van with mate Kieran, and I'm chatting to Wayne on the speakerphone, and he goes, yeah, I've got a Ray Liotta, and then Kieran goes, oh, I've got one of them too, and I was like, oh, not fair.
Yeah.
Not fair. They had a question on Mystery Hour, and if you ring in with the correct answer and you have the best qualifications to answer that question, you get a Ray Liotta. So there was a question of getting around the world without flying and how long it would take. And I rang up and said, you could do it in 31 days. And they said, what's your qualification? I said, I've been to every country in the world without flying. And he went, okay, round of applause. And I was like, Mate.
Yeah.
When he gets back from holiday next Saturday, I'll message him and say if Graham rings in again, he's got a bone to pick with you.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
how dare you?
Do you want to talk a little bit more about British politics while I'm here?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, for a few more minutes.
We now are in this horrific situation where we have this kind of, imagine like Love Island, but all the people are like butt ugly and stupid. No, well, they're stupid anyway. Okay, they're just really horrible to look at. And we're having this leadership competition now. Basically, what happens is the Conservative Party whittle it down from 8 down to 2 through various votes, and whoever's the lowest voted person usually gets kicked out. And then eventually, after a couple of weeks of this nonsense, they get down to 2 people. And then that is given to the Conservative Party members. There's about 100,000 of them. They're all old codgers who are probably a little bit racist and horrible and Brexity. And they get to choose who our next Prime Minister is going to be.
And they mostly live by me.
They mostly live near Wayne, just to annoy him. Although I think Wayne probably lives near them to annoy them.
Yeah. I am the
He
thorn
just
in the
shows up
side.
at their houses and just like, hi,
They'll drink up in the pub, and I just sit there and look at them and just shake my head and go, "Coming in, let's have it."
You have your pint in your hand, and you're like, "Yeah, I see you."
No, do you know what though? There has been so many times I've been sat there having a beer, and I hear a conversation, and I'm like, "That's not true, mate." And they're like, "Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean?" And they get all fucking shirty, and I'm like, "Well, here are some facts," and they go, "Oh, I never knew that." And I'm like, "Well, why did you not know that? Why would you sit there and have an opinion based on something that you've been spoon-fed, and then when someone comes along with contrary facts, you then go, oh, why would you be so keen to be spoon-fed?"
Alternate facts, Wayne. Alternate facts.
No, alternative
facts.
Yeah, but that's
if you get any of them saying, before they say something racist, they go, "A lot of my friends are black." Get them to get them on the phone. Go on then, just FaceTime them now. I want to see them. I want to see all your mates.
Yeah.
And how they feel if you just call them up randomly one evening.
I like when
they're such good mates. That's okay, right?
I like when they number it. It's like I have like 12 black friends. I'm like, out of. Let me see your Facebook.
I'm not
out
a racist.
of.
Oh, that's my favourite. That's my favourite. It's basically it's the same thing as "I'm sorry, but."
Yeah. I don't mean to offend you, but I'm going to offend you.
I'm not being funny.
Wayne, you look good.
All due respect.
Of all due respect.
I'm not trying to be a dick here.
But do you know what? I had a geezer a couple of days ago, and in Brentwood, which is pretty much Brexit and Conservative town, Scottish fella, and I said to him, I went to open up his garage door because I was looking at the insulation.
Giggity.
I went to open up his garage door. Good morning.
Hello.
You'll have to excuse me. I'm suffering from. I've got really bad sunburn on my shoulders. And he went, "I wouldn't have thought a person of your complexion would get sunburn." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay, we're going through this now.
I didn't know a man of your complexion would bleed from the nose so profusely. What?
And I thought to myself, you have to pick your battles. I thought it's my last job of the day. I thought I'm not.
Just get through
I really wanted to go. Actually, mate, have a look at this. Look at the state of that. All right. Yeah. He's telling me a man of my complexion wouldn't get sunburnt.
How would he know?
How would he know living in leafy private road Brentwood?
Y'all don't even have direct sunlight.
Yeah. Well,
do you even have the sun there? Like, does it stop
when we
raining
see it,
long enough?
Yeah, when we see it, the UFO hotline just lights up. It's like people ringing and going, "There's this light in the sky. It's really bright, and it's. I'm scared. I'm scared."
I think in Liverpool they have sun shelters, don't they?
What, because of all of our Irishness, all our fair skin.
So you know, I'm getting two of you now. I'm getting two of you.
My wife is a victim of the sun. The sun the sun has attacked her several times. She does
This
not
is why
fare
I always
well.
wear a hat. I always wear a hat because I don't have to sunscreen my ears.
See?
Yeah.
She wears her hair down. She wears her hair down.
So, just to go back to the, if I may, to the leadership contest, there was a bit of hilarity this week when Ipsos Murray, who are a pollster company, they asked various people how much they knew about the various candidates, and it turned out that, like, you know, Penny Mordaunt, who's one of the favourites, was only known by about 20% of the people. Mr. Tuggan Hat, his name's Tuggan Hat. Someone said he threw his hat into the ring, so now he's just Mr. Tuggan. He was only known by 15%. And there's a horrible woman called Cruella Braverman who has been kicked out today, actually. And 14% said that they knew her really well. They knew her. They knew who she was. However, 12% of the people who responded to this poll said that they knew either a great deal or a fair amount about a candidate called Stuart Lewis, who wasn't a candidate. The pollsters just made him up to see what people said. Yeah, I know him. I know him. You know, people are knobheads. They're just such.
Did you say Stuart Little?
I've got a really strong opinion about it. Do you know anything about it? No, but I have a very strong opinion.
Which
Stuart, top bloke, always gets the pints in. Love him. Wouldn't have a word said against him.
But Graham, have you noticed this? It kind of got highlighted today on Tom Swarbrick's show. The racial element that's coming.
Yes, because Tories are racist, and now it's blowing their minds that so many Tory candidates to be our next leader are from black and ethnic minority
backgrounds.
Yeah, background.
Yeah, and the fact that Rishi Sunak was seen as Rishi Sunak is of Asian descent, and he was knocked into second place. And the theory that's going around is that we like him, but we don't want him to be in charge.
We're not racist, but
he's very
We're
cute.
not racist, but we just don't like him.
He's very cute, but he can't have the job.
Yeah, he did really good when he was like when he was Boris's underling, but we don't want that porch N-word to.
We don't want them getting ideas above their station. Wayne.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and the thing is that there is a certain type of Brit, and I mean this in the broadest sense, that would never take to having someone of colour as the Prime Minister. And there are more than them than there are of Americans who objected to Obama massively. Because we are
proportionately, surely, because they've got a bigger population.
I was about to say,
proportionately.
You have the population of Illinois. Get the fuck out of
here.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, we do this thing of harking back to the Second World War, the symbolism, all of that. You know See, I know Graham's rolling his eyes because he knows it's true. He knows it's true. The Spitfires, Lancaster bombers, you know, Vera Lynn singing about the White Cliffs of Dover. That is. The main...
the propellers.
London calling on the radio.
Exactly.
Lovely.
That is the main thrust of a lot of people's psyche, in the sense of they hark back to that. And again, with America, because they do the same with the 50s, didn't they? The 40s and 50s of, you know, that Americana and, you know, Chevys and
the apple pie.
Yeah, all that.
The past is a wonderful place. It's a wonderful, warm, cozy place. Pain has no memory, and people just want to go back to regress to their childhood as they get older and older, and things become confusing. And you know what it's like when you're presented with something new, like a machine or something, and you just can't work out how it works. It's not just frustrating; it can be quite scary, especially if you're an older person. And everything that we've seen in the last sort of 12 years in the UK and over in the US as well, it's been this kind of like flight from complexity where people are going, the internet, it's scary. I use a phone, but I've got no idea how it works. That terrifies me, you know. And that's the attitude of a lot of the people who vote for Trump and vote for Bolsonaro, vote for bloody Erdogan and Boris Johnson. That like, this guy's got simple answers to
Right.
the complex problems that we're facing.
Yeah.
And the simple answer to the complex problem is almost never the solution.
I don't want to talk about a nuance at all.
And then when people try to talk me out of that position, what you're saying sounds super complicated and it requires extra reading. This guy's got bumper sticker speech. I'm sticking with this guy. The guy who talks in 3 words.
Anti-intellectualism. It's ooh, you're too smart. Sorry, but
nerd.
The big words are not happening.
Yeah, but they've got an all-encompassing term now. You're woke.
Yep.
So we can say, you're one of those woke people.
Did you just say the word syllable to me? You're woke.
Yeah,
that's too big of a word.
That's too woke.
Why are you reading?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
And then what always killed me was like, so these books are banned now? And it's like, you don't read.
Have you read them?
And I know you weren't going back to fucking The Color Purple from like 1948. Like you weren't digging that one up like, oh, what a treasure trove I found here. Like you're not reading that book. You're not reading Beloved. Like get the fuck out of here.
No, but what they will do is get a copy of Orwell's 1984 and just go, you're stopping me from doing this, and you try and point out the irony of what they're doing is kind of exactly what Orwell warned about.
Well, they're saying, oh, it's like Orwell's 1984. It's Big Brother, and then you're like, but that's the book you want to ban, you dumbasses. You can't have it both ways. Either we read it or we don't. Like,
which kind of circles back to our earlier discussion about the lady in the carpool lane.
Yeah.
She wants to be pregnant, but she doesn't want to pay for an extra passenger.
What?
There was a woman who claimed that her unborn baby was a person, and therefore she could drive in the lane.
She was in Texas. She was in Texas, where her unborn child is considered. It has personhood. That's the whole point of it. And
I worded it incorrectly.
Yeah, so it has.
That's
it has,
what that's
you
what
know,
the
it has
was.
personhood, so it's considered a person in the car. So either a unborn child is a person or it's not. And that's the question. But yeah, it's the same thing with the like you can't ban books about banning books.
But the thing is that the books that they're claiming to be banned aren't being banned. They're either out of print because they're just out of print, or they're having a content warning put at the beginning saying, look, these were the opinions people had at the time. Obviously, they're not acceptable now.
Yeah.
And like, what's the problem? I'm offended that there's been this extra page added to this book that I've never read. I never will read.
Not buying it. I'm not getting the Audible.
I just like the kids. I like the kids who are like, "Oh, you're banning this book in my school. Let's start a book club and read this book."
Yeah, have you never met children? Have you never met children?
In the 1980s, me and my mates in school, we had a list of the 88 video nasties that one of the newspapers helpfully provided us with.
Idiots.
And we had it like cut out of the paper.
Dumbasses.
It was our job to watch every fucking movie on that list.
Well, I mean,
don't watch these movies. They have boobs in them.
To anyone,
here's the timestamps.
To anyone that complains about trigger warnings and look at all these woke wankers, we've got the British Board of Classification, which states the age you can be to watch a certain film,
and it's a law.
We
don't have an R rating in the UK. It's an 18. You literally can't be 17 and watch movies like Alien because it was an 18.
But that's been in place since I can remember existing.
Yeah.
And the same thing has happened in America in the sense of like your R ratings and your, I don't know what the other ratings you have in America.
I'll have to send you my short film, Wayne, that I shot about 15 years ago called The Censor. It's about a guy who works for the BBFC. And one day he goes mad and starts murdering people with his censoring scissors for breaking the rules of cinema. Well, breaking the rules of censorship. So when someone swears before the watershed, he cuts their tongue out. And then a young couple are having sex, but they're only 17, so they're old enough to do it, but they're not old enough to see it. So he gouges their eyes out with his scissors. It's really funny. You'd like it.
Wow.
Children should really follow the law, unless they want
yeah.
the scissor man to come for them in the night.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think
Graham
there's
Scissorman.
a couple of films that are banned. There's one that's been banned for blasphemy, and I still don't know if it's been not banned in the UK. It's called Visions of Ecstasy. It was made by an Italian director, I think, in the 1980s. But like banning movies, that's just bonkers, isn't it?
What was it? What was that book that was banned? I remember it growing up. It was
Daisy Chapley's Lover. You don't look old enough.
No. The
One
Satanic
fish,
Verses.
one fish, two
That was
fish.
never banned. I've got a copy on the shelf over there.
I thought that was better because he had
it
a
wasn't banned.
fatwa.
He had a fatwa put on him by Iran. Iran decided that this was a really bad thing that he'd done. And that was mostly down to, from what I can gather, there was a bit of a mistranslation, because instead of translating it as the satanic verses, as in there were verses in the Quran, in the original version, that contradicted later revelations given by the angel Gabriel to Muhammad. And as a result, those passages, he said, they were told to me by Satan, so you have to take them out of the Quran. And they became known as the satanic verses of the Quran. But the way it was translated in a lot of the Arab countries, it was translated as the satanic Quran, not the satanic verses from the Quran. Do you know what I mean? So there was a bit of that. And also there was rabble-rousing, there was populist bullshit, you know, where these ayatollahs and people just wanted to get people angry about this guy in the UK. But Salman Rushdie still has full-time security, as far as I know, because of, you know...
So I remember him appearing on the equivalent of GMTV. It was TVAM with Ann Diamond back in the day, and he appeared on it, and he had to be on like a video thing where he was a silhouette because he was in hiding. And I was over a book.
Yeah, well, the Turkish translator of the Satanic Verses was murdered. He was proper murdered.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Proper murdered, not like a little bit murdered.
No, not a little bit murdered. He actually got proper murdered. But yeah, it was. But I mean, Salman Rushdie's books, like Midnight's Children and Shame and stuff, they're quite respectful in a way to the Islamic religion. But it's all magical realism. So it's this sort of genre of books where it's like the everyday kitchen sink stuff, but then there's magic going on at the same time. Really worth reading. Midnight's Children is one of my favorite books. It's essentially, what if the X-Men were born?
Midnight Children.
Midnight's Children. Every child born in the first hour of independence of India and Pakistan and Bangladesh was born with superpowers.
For my long drive to Harlow tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's very immersive. He goes off on tangents for ages, but he's a really, really good storyteller. But yeah,
I've got that right there. Oh, it's included.
Banning books, banning films, banning TV shows, like in this day and age where everything's downloadable off the internet. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Oh, but then you got the flip side of it, where people say you've got conversations that you're not allowed to have, and when you do have them, people will push back, and it's like, well, if we can't have these conversations, we can't push back and learn and try and get other people's perspectives on certain things. And I know that the trans conversation is very lively right now, and it's very hard to negotiate the trans waters without being labelled something, in the sense of, if you just question it, like just tell me where I'm wrong. Just tell me where I'm wrong.
Do you know what, Wayne? A couple of years ago, I did a podcast with a trans woman and a non-binary person, and I asked them all the questions that I wanted to ask them, and they answered them. And basically, you know, since then, I felt confident enough to join in the conversation and say, or the debate, whatever it is, and say, hang on, you know, we're talking about a minority here. Surveys, you know, scientific studies have shown that up to 50% of young trans people attempt suicide. And I just look at that and I think these people need our love and support. They don't need to be made to feel terrible for who they are. And then you hear this bullshit about the trans agenda. Like,
that's
all
what I
the
mean.
people running the world are trans. Yeah, like all Bill Gates and Elon Musk.
Reading a book makes you gay. Like, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
If you read a book about a gay couple, all of a sudden you're being groomed to be gay. Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Read books about straight people for years, and it didn't make them any more straight.
And I just find it frustrating that there are, what do they say, the squeakiest wheel gets the most oil, and you can just ask a question because you want to try and understand, and you want to try and be an ally, and you want to be supportive in that. But sometimes asking a question, if you don't word it in the correct way, it's leapt upon as you're this, and I'm like, well, no, I'm just trying to understand.
I can understand why they're a little bit trigger happy on terms of, like, jumping on someone who said something. But there were a lot of people who weighed in, especially on Twitter, to say something really, really obnoxious and declare what a woman is. This is a woman. A woman can have a baby. Well, what about women who can't have babies? Well, a woman, and then I did this today. I sent a picture from a New York fashion show from a few years ago, which was they did a day where it was all trans men, and I'm like, look at this picture of all these very burly men, really amazing figures, 6-packs, 8-packs, you name it, beards, everything, and you say, according to these people, these TERFs, these are women. They want them to use the female toilet because they were born, they were allocated female at birth. But I mean, we're getting into a whole different sort of conversation there. But I do agree that we need to be able to talk about this stuff without the fear of being cancelled. But then at the same time, I say the most fucking obnoxious things that I can think of on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, and no one's ever cancelled me.
Yeah.
Come after me.
I was just going down the route of, when you get the people that go, I'm not being racist, but.
Yeah.
And then they'll say something a little bit racist, but it may be just naive. It doesn't make them racist. It's a case of they just want to know. They just want to ask the question. Because even this whole thing about hair, like black women's hair and everything, like when we went abroad years ago with our eldest, all these Spanish ladies were coming up touching Sienna's hair, and I'm like, what? Why are you doing that? And I didn't realize it was there is an actual thing. There's a movement about black women's hair or people of color's hair, and I didn't even know it was a thing until all these Spanish ladies came up and started touching her hair. I'm like, that's weird. And then I saw a documentary. I can't remember who it was by, but it was all about black women's hair and how much there is a stigma around black women's hair, and how when women straighten their hair, it's seen as a betrayal, and all this kind of nuance that went behind it. But I didn't realize until I noticed all these women trying to touch her hair, and I didn't get that it was a thing. I mean, Mikey, I don't know if you've got any more info on that. But yeah.
Yep.
I hate it when people touch me in any way, like, unless I want them to touch me. Like, anyone invading my personal space like that, I really get ratty about it. And it's something that, like, especially men, usually men who are like probably Generation X, or probably like in their 50s, they're all being blokes together and stuff down the pub. and they touch me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying sexually or anything, but it's just like, fuck off. Like, this is my
Yeah.
body. Like, I did not give you permission to do that.
They're
And you
like,
get
come
all
here, son,
offended.
get you an headlock. Ree.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with 2 older brothers, so do you know what I mean? It's kind of thing that's just like, I can't be arsed with it. You know, I'm 43 years old, mate. I don't need this big brother shit. All right.
You're not my big brother, and even my big brothers know better.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I can imagine what that's like if you know, people are trying to touch your fucking hair because they're like, oh, that's a bit different. I'll do this.
Like from behind at a bar.
Stare at you, you know, like in India or somewhere, people stop in the street and stare at you because, you know, you're probably the most interesting thing to walk through the village that day. And I kind of get it. Yeah, that's fine. But when people do it in the West and you're like, fucking hell, man, you know, haven't you got Netflix?
We're very touchy. Very touchy. And I don't like it.
So I noticed when I grew my hair out, I've always got a beanie on or a baseball cap or anything, and I let my hair grow because it was cold and I suffer from psoriasis, so I'm like very self-conscious. And went into work and took my hat off, and like the girls in the office going, "Oh, I've never seen you hair. Oh, can I touch it?" And I'm like, "Why?"
Why? Yeah, why, Brenna? Why do women want to touch hair so much?
You want to talk about people who like,
Brenna's got to answer this question for
all women.
I'm just gonna go under here.
Any idea how much my hair is touched? Like, I don't understand it. I don't like my hair. That's why I spend a lot of money on trying to keep it at least decent. But people have touched my hair. I from a young age, I never liked people brushing my hair. Like my mom would like sit me down and hold me and just like I felt like I was like a cat or something. I had like my neighbor would always want to do my hair, and I hated sitting around like getting giant, really horrible braids in my hair. I don't like it. They were like the French braids, right? So
no, I'm saying they can't braid very well, so you just ended up with knots.
No, they braided fine. I just didn't like being held down and my hair worked on because I have big, thick, curly hair, and it's painful. And I have had problems with my hair, and like I get compliments now. At least people don't touch my hair anymore. I don't think we're as touchy as we used to be, but I just get compliments.
Thanks, COVID.
My hair. Yeah, it's been helpful when somebody goes, "I like your hair," and I go, "I spend a lot of money on it." Like, it's the one thing I do. I really like having my hair like taken care of. But
thanks, Tons of Mice, for the comment there. Get this hashtag rolling, guys. Hashtag Brenna hates her hair. Okay. Just get
hates
that.
People touching her hair.
No, there wasn't enough characters. Yeah, we didn't have time. So we'll just have to make that the popular one.
I haven't did anything with my hair.
I'm just doing my best to hold on to mine because you can see my sunroof is well and truly open.
Would you like some of mine? I have
Wayne, mate. Wayne,
here,
look at this.
You know what?
Look at this.
Guys, I will donate my hair to you.
I wear a hat.
Yeah, but Graham, you're going for the aerodynamics.
Yeah, but I was working on my old website with the Odyssey Expedition from when my travels around the world. I was working updating some links and things on it this week, and just all the pictures of me with my long hair, my long curly hair, and I'm just like, oh man.
This picture
back in the good old days.
Yeah.
And then there's Mikey with
getting old sucks.
Full head of hair, long,
luxurious,
thick. I wanna just grab it.
Yeah. And I'm gonna pepper spray the shit out of you like I'm a pepper spray into these fucking Karens at Walmart who want to fucking touch me. Fucking get your hands off me. That's assault. Or that's battery. You're battering my hair. Your hair batterers.
Yep, you got
it. Technically it is, yeah.
Yep.
But we're just about out of time here. We've had an extra long show. Maybe I'll break this up into 2 pieces. Graham, let everybody know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
I'm at every country on Twitter, and if you want to head over to UK for UKR, as in United Kingdom for Ukraine, UK4 UKR.com, You can give to our crowdfunder, in which every time we raise £2,500, we're driving over to Ukraine with supplies, picking up refugees and taking them to where they need to go anywhere in Europe. So if you'd like to join in and help that, head over to UK4UKR.com. And if you just want to find out about me and what I'm doing and up to and stuff, head over to Twitter and just follow me on @everycountry. There's a few links there so you can catch up on what I'm up to from one day to the next.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. So for me and Wayne and Brenna, Shartan, who is not with us today, and Graham, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you, Graham.
It's been a real blasty blast. We will catch you crazy kids on the flip side. To infinity and beyond.
Adios.